Are we live? Yep. Hey, what's up, everybody? I think the stream should be good now. We're gonna get going. Today, I wanted to do something a little bit different instead of pre-recording something and showing you kind of step by step how I build something in a way that's all edited. I wanted to go through the process of how I go and prototype a game. So I came up with a quick idea for a game last night, just talking to my wife, and we're gonna put together a little pumpkin-based Halloween game. I'll show you the steps that I go through to just get the thing up and running quickly, kind of iterate over stuff, and show you how I kind of code and do things as quick as we can. So we just started off with an empty project here, and like I said, I want to do like a Halloween theme, and I talked to my wife last night. I'll show you guys real quick the amount of info I've got here. It's basically that. She wanted ghosts that are floating, pumpkins, and she wanted to call it a PunKin because she hates the P in pumpkin for some reason. We talked about catapulting things and maybe making the pumpkin tell some jokes, having some candy corn, and I really like the idea of bouncing the pumpkin around. Hopefully my stream quality is good enough. If you guys are seeing problems with it, can you let me know? It's hard to tell what's going on here. YouTube is giving me a hard time. Anyway, we'll just get going building stuff. So the first thing I wanted to do was just, well, I guess maybe talk really briefly about the flow for prototyping stuff. Normally I try not to write out too much, and when I'm prototyping, the goal is to figure out what mechanics are going to be fun, how they're going to work, and whether or not I actually want to go forward with stuff. So I like to do these quickly, maybe spend a couple hours at most, prototyping out a mechanic and kind of a feel for a thing and see if it's going to be any fun. Now, I have no intention of turning this into like a big full game or anything. I just kind of want to go through the process and have fun doing it. So to start off, I'm just going to grab a pumpkin. And I already know there are a couple in the asset store. I did a tiny little bit of research before this, but I tried not to go too far. So if I go down in the project view, just search for pump and hit asset store tab, I should be able to find some pumpkins. Oh, wait, now it's telling me the asset store is not available. That's awesome. Let's just go directly to the asset store. I think my connection failed there. I've been having some weird internet problems lately, where the Wi-Fi just drops off and then pops back on. Again, hopefully that's not killing my stream. It looks all lagged out and frozen there. So if it is broken, please just say something in chat. Let me know, and I'm going to pause and maybe restart and fix it. Why can't I connect to the asset store? This is very strange. So this is not normal. Not being able to get onto the asset store. Let's just close and maybe reopen this here. Just kick off a new instance of Unity. And we'll call this Pumpkin 2. Pumpkin 2 folder. Let's see. Now we should at least be able to create something, I hope, or connect. And nobody said anything in chat, right? Other than hello world. Oh. Okay. It's blurry. Okay, that's an issue. Hold on. I'm gonna lower the bit rate real quick and just see if I can fix this, so we can have a nice good stream, because I plan on going for quite a while, so I want to make sure that the quality is good. Not used to streaming here on YouTube or anywhere really. In 30 seconds, this will be back up. Okay. I think we should be back up now, and hopefully the stream looks better, and my internet is apparently working fine in this project. So we'll go forward with this one. And we're just going to search for pumpkins. Again, I'm going to try doing it down here in the asset store, because now that things are working, or down in the project view, just because it's one of the ways I like to search. And it looks like it's working. So pumpkin. And you can see there's, 41 assets there. And if I zoom it up, I can actually scroll and look at things. And let's see, it looks like these are mostly icons here. In the middle, we got a couple models. Got this one, and we've got, I think I want to go with this one because it's got light in there. So I just hit open an asset store. Should pull up the package. And I only looked at free ones. It looks like there's some paid ones too, but I think this is going to match with my art style well. And just pull in a pumpkin pack. And In this case, since I'm prototyping, I'm going to pull in the entire package. If I was doing a real project, I'd be a lot more careful about what I was pulling in and throwing in here. Since this is just prototyping and trying to figure out what we want to do, pulling it all in is fine because it's not like a long-term thing I'm going to keep. So let's go to the scene view real quick, take a look at the prefabs down here, and I think, let's see, there's a glowing and a regular. I want to use the glowing one. Maybe we could even do something with the lights and have it like light up when he bounces or something. Maybe you can see ghosts with the light that comes out of his eyes. That could be kind of cool. So just take him, drop him into the scene, and go to game view, get an idea what he looks like. It's actually kind of close to what I want. So I was thinking side scroller, like weird bouncing pumpkin, like bouncing on platforms, avoiding things. So interestingly, he's already in the perfect position. If we go to the scene view, go back to the main camera, just go take a look real quick and see what we've got here for our scene. Yeah, this is looking good. So ours is our pumpkin at 0, 0. Almost. He's not zeroed on the Z, so let's zero that. And that's usually just the side effect of the way that it was saved on the asset. So when you export an asset pack with the prefabs, it's going to keep all of those position values. And it looks like they had that one set at 1, probably because they were side by side. I bet this is 1 and that one's at 0 because they're side by side in a scene and they got applied like that. Okay, well, we got our pumpkin, and let's get, I'm going to start with like a really simple ground. Just do like a cube, maybe 2 cube platforms, bounce back and forth, and then figure out some art. I was thinking like some cool mushrooms or something Halloween-y. If you guys have some ideas, I'll ask for them in just a bit. So if you guys have some cool like theme ideas for things you could bounce around or want to look for them, feel free to do that while we start putting together the basics. So just make a cube here and reset it, and then move it down a little bit on the Y, maybe to like a negative 0.5. Probably make it about 0.5 tall, and then 10 by 10. Oh, that seems good. Now I've got a nice big cube I can bounce on. Let's just hit play and see what it looks like in game mode. Perfect. Well, almost perfect. Not quite, right? Because I still need to do a lot of changes to my camera. but it's in the right position at least. Let's see now. Well, actually, here, let's fix up the camera first before we do anything else. Let's go to the camera. I'll go to game view mode, and I want to change it from perspective to ortho. Because I want to go with like a slightly flatter camera. Might move it up or down just a little bit. I'll just leave it for now. I'll leave it where it was. Where was it at? 1. Oops. Y, redo. Control Z and Control Y, by the way. That's why everything's bouncing back and forth without me moving the mouse. Just undo and redo. All right, so let's see. Let's save that off, and let's make this little dude bounce. And go back to the scene view. Select our pumpkin. Add a rigid body and a collider. So we'll go with a sphere collider. Seems like the perfect type for this shape. I almost thought maybe like a poly or a capsule collider, but he's not. He's kind of rounded, and I want him to kind of bounce and roll anyway. I think it'd be cool. So we've got our pumpkin dude here. Maybe he shouldn't roll. I don't know. We'll see. Got a pumpkin. He's set up, and if I hit play again, I assume he's just going to drop to the ground. Oh, perfect. Now let's make him bounce. Next simple step. So just go to the assets folder, create an empty folder, make a physics material folder. I could put this in the root, but I'd rather just make a folder for it because I might end up making more materials for this. This seems like the bouncy physics slidey type thing where I come up with multiple. So I'll call this bouncy, just making a new physics material. And then if we go select our pumpkin, we can assign it to the collider right here, the material of the collider. And I'll just double click on it and open it up. Set that bounciness up to a 1 and the bounce combined to maximum. I'm probably going to set the, just turn the friction down to 0 too. I want this guy to be nice and bouncy. From the start, he's going to probably bounce kind of out of control, but let's just watch. There we go. Look at that. All right, we've already got a fun game, right? Got a bouncing pumpkin. So we got a couple things we could do now. I could either make him move, or we could maybe get some more control over that bounce so that he doesn't keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. I don't know which one I want to do. Actually, let's just make a scripts folder, and then we'll see what I type first. So go folder, scripts. Making it move around seems more interesting and more fun, so I'm going to make a move script. Let's do that. So I'll just call this mover It's going to be our PunKin mover. Select the PunKin and attach it, and then we'll actually write some code. Oh, did it compile? Did we get a code? Yeah, let's collapse all this stuff. So we're going to assign it here. Yep, there we go. Let's open it up. Writer should pop up. I haven't used Writer in 1080p in a while, so let me know if it gets weird. If it doesn't fit right. I guess I'll find out whenever it opens up. What somebody asked what the prototype's for. For fun, just to kind of go through the process. I wanted to show how I'd throw together a quick prototype if there's a game idea, I want to see it in action. I want to see like if it's something that I might want to spend more than a couple hours on or not, and just kind of throw together a real quick prototype. And I wanted to show what that process looks like, how fun it can be, and also give people some insight into just how I'm coding the stuff. Max value for the bounciness is 1, and the min and max for all of those is 1. It's basically like 0 to 100%. So you can go all the way down to 0 or all the way up. Let's see. So we're not going to need an update. We won't need a start. We will need an awake though, because I want to grab the rigid body, and then we're just going to add some force based on the input. If you think about this game, like we're really going to go off the horizontal, the A and D or left and right. If I grab out a controller, and maybe like we could add like a fire or something that shoots off a grappling hook with vines, or maybe shoots out some pumpkin seeds or something, candy corn, make some vomit or something. But I don't anticipate that we're going to do more than like left, right, and a fire button. So for our input, we'll just read it directly in here. If we had something bigger, obviously, and it wasn't a prototype, we wouldn't do that. But in here, it makes sense. We'll just read our input. So, but first we're going to need a rigid body. So let's add an awake, and we'll cache the rigid body just like this, and go add a field for it. So that's, by the way, home, the hotkey, and then Alt-Enter and Enter is kind of like how we quickly generate these rigid body things without having to do all that typing. And just do rigid body dot add force, and then we'd give it a force amount to make it move left or right. But we need to determine what direction we should add and whether or not we should even move it. Well, for now, let's just go in the direction that we want. So let's add a float here for horizontal. So say float horizontal equals input dot get axis, and watch this, quotes, type H, and writer auto completes. Of course, it always adds that extra quote at the end, annoying, but I just hit delete and a semicolon. Then we'll add some force in the horizontal direction times, let's give it some movement force. This is writer. Yeah, we're in writer and loving it. Somebody asked a question about it. And then for the Y, we'll add 0, and for the Z, we'll add 0, because this is just going to be like a left and right force amount that we're adding. Let's generate a field for movement force. It'll be a float, and I'll give it a value like 5. I don't know, that might be too high, might be too low. And we'll make it a serialized field. Whoops, that's wrong. Because we want to modify that in the inspector. And also, if I hit Alt-Shift and up arrow, I can move it right up to the top where I like my serialized fields to be. I'm going to make that private. I mean, it's already private, but I just make it explicitly private only so the text lines up. And I think that's it. Let's get rid of all these extra using statements. So that should let us move kind of left and right just based on input. Right? Nice and simple. Nothing complicated yet. Let's hit play, get an idea of if that works. Oh, it works. It moves really, 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 really fast. That's good. It's kind of snappy. I want to limit that movement speed, though. I don't want to move it. I don't want to add force if it's going too fast, left or right? So let's put in some limiters in that. So go back into the mover, and let's add in a maximum force field. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Let's call this underscore maximum velocity. And I'll spell it max because nobody ever writes maximum. And let's see, what's a good value for that? 5 is probably too low, but I'll start it at that. So what we want to do here then is check to see if we're moving right, then we want to only move right if we only want to add force if our velocity is greater than that amount. If it's, or do I just want to do a clamp and a limit? So let's do it like this, I think. So it could go rigid body dot velocity equals rigid body dot, well, we'll give it, let's just make a new vector 3. It's a little bit inefficient here what we're going to do, but we'll make it a new vector 3, and we'll give it the clamped x, comma, the rigid body dot velocity dot y, and our z is always 0, but I'm just going to take it from the rigid body. So we'll just take it from there, and then let's get a clamped x. We'll just do it like this. We'll say float clamped x equals mathf dot clamp, and then we'll clamp it between negative max velocity. Oh, wait, we have to give it the original value. So that'd be the rigid body dot velocity dot x. So this is like the current velocity on the x-axis is what we'll pass in. And then for the minimum, we'll do the max velocity as a negative, so just negative that. And for the max, we do positive max velocity. So what it's going to do is give us a value between the minimum and maximum velocity, which is the max velocity of -5 and +5, really, from our value. So if we go above that, we'll change it, and then we'll just replace our velocity. Again, not the best thing to do for like a long-term system, but it worked perfectly fine in this prototype. Let's see. Somebody asked if I've used Unreal 4 at all and why I prefer Unity over it. I haven't used Unreal 4 a lot. I used Unreal 3 a lot and 2. I liked it, liked the engine, but I kind of started using Unity and fell in love with it, and I just like using Unity more. So no real reason other than I love C# and the pipeline and the processes just for putting stuff into Unity. So here we go. I've got a pumpkin that I can now bounce left and right, and the speed is relatively constant, so it's not getting too crazy. I feel like maybe we should do the same for the bounciness, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do that in a little bit. Let's see. What do we got in here for questions? Anybody asking anything? Nope. Cool. Well, if anybody's got cool ideas and thoughts too, let me know. But I think I just want to keep going with this. So I've got the pumpkin here. He's bouncing left and right. And let me see. Let's bounce him around a couple more times. I'm trying to think of what. Oh, I definitely want him bouncing higher and at a steady rate, so that his up and down velocity is good. And then I want to be able to bounce him onto something. So let's do that. Let's make his bounce velocity a little bit more static, so he has a minimum velocity going up and down and a maximum velocity going up and down. You just kind of clamp that that bounce stuff too. And we could do that in this mover. We could do it in another bounce script. This is going to be really, really simple though. So let's just clamp the Y in here too. So say float clamped Y. Oh wait, but this is. I gotta think this through for a moment, because we want to max. We don't want them going up too high or down too fast. But we also want to have some. Do we want to have a minimum? No. We'll just clamp the Y. Let's just do that. So just say we'll do it just like this. I'm gonna copy and paste this. We'll take the. We'll take the X. No, the Y. Sorry. And for the velocity, let's call this max horizontal velocity. So Control R opens up the rename. Control R. Just hold Control and hit R twice. So we'll call this max horizontal. And I don't need to care about the formally serialized as. And then let's add a max vertical too. So then we can copy and paste the max vertical in. I just assume that this value is going to be different. And then I'm going to paste it into here. I think that's good. That's going to clamp us. And then I'm just going to move the pumpkin up so he starts bouncing higher. So again, really, I just want to see if I'm going to be able to make something fun out of this, if we're going to have a good time with it or not, and if there's anything to it. I assume that there's not, but it's fun and pumpkin based, so it'll work well for Halloween and just making a little thing. Initially, I was thinking it'd be cool to put together like a version of a thing where we could control this like outside, let the kids that are trick-or-treating somehow control a big thing playing on a projector or something. But I don't have a really good idea for how you control it. Maybe put like some pedals that they could jump on to bounce it left and right or something. Could be kind of fun. Let's crank up that max vertical. I want to get this guy bouncing a little bit higher. not quite there. Maybe like to a 10. You see when I typed in the 1, it kind of dropped right down. Okay, that seems good. So this is actually a reasonable control. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a reasonable, interesting little control. So stop playing it, and let's turn that up to 10. I'll look at the questions real quick. Oh, somebody was asking about Discord. Yeah, I'll link another Discord invite in just a little bit. Let's see. What do you think about lamp and mean approach for non-game stuff? I know guys who use it. I've never done it myself. It seems like it's popular still, or at least it was when I talked to them. But every time I've done non-game stuff, it's been like, it's generally C# or C++ or some JavaScript, like very light JavaScript. And would you ever take a job at the end of projects to fix bugs and add features? Probably not. I mean, I would have in the past. I've done it in the past, but not the kind of thing I'd be super interested in now. And somebody else asked what we're doing. Just building out a prototype. We're going to put together a game, just a little fun, simple game to bounce a pumpkin around, take out some ghosts, do some other stuff, and just have some fun going through that whole process of putting stuff together. Let's see. So we've got, let's see. Oh, whoops. I hit play. I'm going to just make another platform real quick just because I want to bounce onto it and see what that's like. And then I'm not sure what I want to do next. Either start looking for some art. I just duplicated this cube, by the way. Or I don't know. Like I said, not a huge plan right now. Just kind of going with it and see what we come up with that's fun to do. Let's move this sucker over here. So let's say I just wanted to bounce onto that and bounce back. I assume I can do that. Not super hard. I just kind of want to get an idea what it feels like. Boing, boing. Yep. I guess there is that issue when you bounce onto something. Like I feel like when I hit, I need to be adding force upward. I don't know. It's okay though. So I'm able to bounce around. Let's see if we can come up with a cool little background theme or something. Like I said before, I wanted to do like maybe mushrooms or something Halloween-y that we could just have in the background that you're kind of bouncing through the environment, and then have ghosts coming up that you're avoiding, and just go from there. So let's see. Let's search for Halloween. If anybody has good recommendations for a kit that would work well for this, though, drop them in chat, because I'd be curious to see. And we want 3D environments, ideally. Something that the hard part is going to be finding something that's a 3D environment that's also side scrolly. Cartoon Halloween farm. What's this look like? Oh, kind of cool, but probably not what we need. Keep looking. Come on, Jason, let's find something. A mysterious forest. Looks like the ground piece looks cool. Like it'd be a cool thing to bounce on, but I think there's only one of them. Spooky oh, I think I have this one, but yeah, that doesn't look like it's gonna work. I need something platformy. Something cool. Let's see. Yeah, bats flying around would be cool too. And somebody asked if this would be a video. Yeah, I think all the live streams just automatically get uploaded as videos unless you tell it not to. You just have to go to the live streams tab. Let's see, what else do we have? Come on. Nobody's found anything cool yet either. Doesn't necessarily need to be a free one. I just want to find something that looks cool. Maybe it's my word Halloween. That might be a bad search. Let's search for platform. Environments under 3D. Let's see what we can find here. Sci-fi platforms. No, come on. There's got to be something. Platform builder assets. I could use those. They're not really themed very right at what I want though. It's something a little spookier or mystical or something like that. Let's see. Anything in here that matches? Or maybe just some giant, oh, look at that, blocks. And maybe like some giant mushrooms that I can just bounce on. It'd be fine. Like just something different. I'm going to search for mushrooms because I'm not having any luck here. Ooh, moon background. That's a good idea too. Let's get that. Mushroom. Oh, maybe I should not make one. How did anything show up with the word platform mushroom? Oh yeah, something maybe like that, but a little more cartoony. Big mushrooms. What is this? Maybe. Man, I was just trying. Oh, mushroom land. Oh, and I have it. That's funny. Do these look I like the color. If I could get the full screen art to show up. Let me just download this and check it real quick. I'm not sure that this is gonna work. This looks really really old. The fact that I have it means I got it a really long time ago probably. But I'm gonna keep looking. Fancy mushrooms. Oh, what was that one? Where'd it go? I just saw one. Sun's mushrooms. This one looks kind of cool too. I'm just finding all kinds of mushrooms, and that's about it. Oh, somebody asked what ECS is. ECS is the Entity Component System. It's kind of a new way for building apps using the data-oriented tech stack. It's something that we're definitely not going to talk much about today, though. It's not something I would use in prototyping this kind of thing. Let's see. There are a lot of mushrooms out there. Wow. Apparently, artists love to make mushrooms. I did not realize just how popular they were. Maybe I will just hit the free button because there's so many of them. Oh, that's why I had that one, because it was free. That's funny. What else we got here? This one, glowing stylized mushrooms. That could be cool, but I want more like platform mushrooms. Ah, man. Well, let's try the one that I just downloaded and see if this one works. So it's downloaded. We'll import it, which means that the window is going to pop up somewhere else. And we'll pull this sucker in. Oh, what do you know? Popped up right in the middle. That's never happened. Hopefully this isn't 2D. It looks like it could be. It's really hard to tell. Shouldn't be, though. It's in the 3D section. All right. Let these come in. Yeah, well, while this imports, anybody got any other questions about stuff we're doing or just random stuff? Oh, someone said put a cannon that's at a fixed point. That's not a bad idea. Put the cannon so it's fixed point and shoot the pumpkin. Add control to fire it. Button for outside Halloween. Let the kids fire it to shoot the pumpkin. Oh, yeah, that could be cool. I like that. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Did we get mushrooms imported? Yep. And let's save off our sample scene and then open up their example and see what it looks like. Looks like a lot of stuff that's all turned off. Are all these game objects off? Yeah, that's weird. Let's turn some on. Oh yeah, I think these seem like they might work perfect. Well, maybe not. Some of them might. Well, whatever. Let's go back into the sample scene and see what we can do. Go into here. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is a prototype to make sure that we can have fun gameplay and make it kind of neat, and then decide if it's worth putting any effort into doing more. So go into environment. I assume prefabs and oh, it's weird. No preview, huh? Why's the preview? We're not working. Strange. Let's find some shrooms though. Oh, they're all off. That's why. All the game objects are set to off. Here, let's turn all of them on by default. Maybe then we can get the preview. I didn't realize that the preview doesn't show up if the game object's off. That's very strange. It must be because the renderer is not showing. Let's see. Let's uncheck and check one. I wonder if that's a bug in this beta version of Unity or it's like a known thing. Interesting. Cool. Well, we've got mushrooms now. Oh, okay. It looks like we mostly just have a lot of. Oh, there's a little bit of variety. Where's a flat one? Do we have any that are nice flat on the top? Maybe not. This one looks semi-flat. Shroom number 12. Holy crap, that's huge. Okay, let's shrink that down. So what is it? R, shrink, shrink, shrink. And I get rid of this other mushroom here. All right, so if I want to make my pumpkin bounce on this mushroom, I'm going to need to move it and drop it down. We have it. what are we looking at? Oh, let's just zero out the Z. And then drop it down a little bit more. And do a little bouncing first. So yeah, the problem I'm having is that all of these are very, very pointed. So I think getting a bounciness on here, it might be weird, but I kind of want to try it just to see. Let's add a mesh collider. Well, I mean, it did kind of what I expected it to do. Let's see. Oh, wait, we're not bouncing on that. Oh, and we're bouncing off to the side. We need to lock the Z, or the Z position here. So I got the rigid body of the PunKin selected. We got to go to constraints and lock the Z position and rotation. Because it's no longer flat, it's bouncing back behind our mushroom. There we go. So now we're able to bounce on it. It's not anything like what I want, though. I'm going to find some flatter mushrooms. Let's go back to that asset store. Search for flat mushrooms. It's got to be something under flat mushrooms, right? Let's search for mushroom platform. Let's see, there's got to be something here. And we'll go into... There's 2D environments. I'm feeling like, man, I should have done 2D instead of 3D. It's too late, though. I've already committed. Hand-painted turnable platforms. You know what? This is not what I was thinking at all, but I'm going to use them because I can just have it bounce around on these platforms. I can place them in the air, and I think that'll work. I still get the same feeling. And they've got little mushrooms on them. So it's like halfway to what I wanted, right? Plus, then I don't have to spend a bunch of time looking for art because it's a good way to kind of dig yourself into a hole and get nothing done. I've done it before where I spend forever trying to find perfect art and then realize like it's been 2 hours and I haven't actually completed anything. Okay, what is this? Let's go to prefabs. Hopefully they're set up. There we go. Mushrooms with red mushrooms. Oh, okay, that's actually just the mushrooms. The prefabs, let's go to platforms. Platform 1, yep. Platform 2. Oh, this is going to be good. I think this will work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's delete everything other than platform 4 because that's the one I like the most. And we'll take that sucker, reset the position. Oh, man. Yeah, this is perfect. I'm going to get rid of these 2 cubes. I'll just disable them for now. Take the platform and let's add it. Oh, it's got a box collider on it. Where's the collider? Let's disable the renderer. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Never mind. Let's select the actual platform. There we go. That explains why I thought I saw a box collider there. Well, that's going to be super performant. Whatever. Let's just add a collider here. We'll just add a box collider. And we'll scale this sucker up or down. Get it to match. Remember, this isn't going to be 3D, so I just need to get it right on the X, really. The Z doesn't matter so much. It just has to be wide enough on the X axis because it's going to bounce down onto there, and it's not going to go the other way. But I may as well scale it out here anyway. There's no harm. All right, save that sucker off and hit play. My positions are right. There we go. Can bounce now on the little platform. Cool. So now I've got a platform that I can use. Let's turn it into a prefab. Make a prefabs folder. And we're not going to make subfolders for this because I don't think we're going to have multiple environment pieces. And we'll make this an original prefab. I really just wanted to make my own prefab outside of the one that came with the asset pack. So that we could keep it from getting updated or changed. I was reading a question in here. Why did I turn off Z rotation? Because I don't want him bouncing and rolling backwards. Did I not lock it though? Yeah, I wanted to, yeah. Because I don't want him rolling the opposite way. Unless I did the wrong rotation. I might have hit the wrong one. I'm not sure. Whoops. I think Z was wrong, yeah. I think it was supposed to be X rotation. Okay, well, whatever. We'll leave them for now. Let's get more platforms. I want to get this platform down. So here, let's pull the game view and scene view side by side. And then take the platform, I'll switch to 2D mode, hit W, and pull that down to, I don't know, right around here. Actually, should we start off over there? Well, here, let's move the camera. There, now we're starting off on the left side of the screen. Okay, so let's see. Let's make some more platforms. Duplicate the platform, move it up, duplicate, and just kind of make a little a jumping ramp or jumping area for now. Let's see how that works. So we can bounce around. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, we definitely need the rolling back in, though. Kind of able to get over there. Let's stop. Why is he not rolling anymore? Oh, sorry. I unchecked the wrong way. I was reading rotation and position wrong. So we do want him to roll like that. We just didn't want him to move. There we go. Now he bounces and spins. Perfect. And falls to his death. I feel like there should be some kind of a death thing back there. Let's put in a moon background too. Somebody had mentioned that. I hadn't put it in yet, and I want to just get that knocked out. So let's do it. Let's close this off. Search for a moon. And this could just be like a skybox or something else. Or let's search for spooky. I want to find like a spooky moon background. Yeah, more like that or that. Spooky forest environment. Do I have that one? It looks kind of cool. Thought I had this one. I don't know if that's going to work for a background though. So let's see. Find something spooky. Come on. Spooky background. That's odd. Whatever. Let's get this one. That seems fine. Spooky woods, parallax background. We'll add it and pull it in. Okay. If we can figure out how to add it. Why did it not just check out? That's the weirdest thing ever. Oh, remove. Apparently things have changed a tiny bit. Just got to do a checkout in another tab real quick. And got to check another box. There we go. I think we're almost checked out. That's weird. Every other time I've ever bought something in the asset store, just click the button and it just did it. Seems like maybe it's just the account or something. All right. That should be done. It should be purchased. Come on. Let's see if we can use it. Oh, now I hear myself talking. That's not good. Okay. Let's pull it in. Downloading. Take a drink. Oh no. I forgot to finish my ice cream bar and it melted. Oh, let me throw this away before it turns into a mess on my desk while this imports. All right. We should be done. Did it import? What was it called? I don't see it. It must have just downloaded and not hit import. Getting myself mixed up there. All right. Pull this sucker in. Let's see what these look like. Go back to that scene view. Let's see, where did they put this? So it's in Spooky Woods. Okay, they've got some prefabs. Maybe I'll just pull out the prefab and see what it looks like. Spooky Woods prefab. It's got a bunch of layers of stuff. Oh no, it's all 2D sprites. Oh, let's look at their example. Delete this. Open up the example scene. Hit play and see what they're doing here. So yeah, it's a little bit jacked up apparently. Whatever. We can take the textures. It'll be good enough. Sometimes that happens. So we'll go into here. There's got to be some textures. They got to be referencing something, right? Okay. Maybe I was a little too optimistic here. What is going on here? So they got a moon, and then they've got a broken prefab that's missing a bunch of sprites. Why is it missing sprites? Oh, because they're all freaking PSDs. And nobody thought, hey, what if they don't have Photoshop installed? Oh, man. I think that's why maybe why it's not pulling them in. I don't know. No, it's still, I'm not sure what the hell is going on here. I am going to just find a different background because I don't want to deal with a giant mess. Spooky background. I'm just going to search on Google Images because that'll work just fine. Yeah, there we go. We'll find a nice little image. We'll use that for now. If I want to change it later, we can change it later. That one looks kind of cool. Here, let's do a filter. So when you search on Google, go to size, and you probably want to go to large. And we're not looking for transparent stuff. We just want to find big images. And then we want to find ones, obviously, that don't have watermarks that we can use just to drop onto it. And of course, if you do it in a real game, you're going to have to buy art or find art that's free to use. When you're just throwing together a prototype and you're not actually releasing it anywhere, whatever, just grab whatever thing. Oh, I like that one. That's really neat. I'll take that for now. Save image as, and then we just drop it to the right folder. So we got to go into Git, Halloween 2. And now where I saved this off, let me see. I thought that was the folder. Oh, PunKin 2, sorry. C:/git PunKin 2, and then we go into assets, and let's make an art folder. Okay, why does that seem empty? That doesn't seem right. Let's move this over. I get the feeling that this is the PunKin one, not PunKin 2. Dang it. Okay, all good. So we'll go in here, create another folder, create that art folder again. The reason the folder was empty is because I had the other copy of it that I used that I didn't end up using as our project. So we'll go into art and just take the saved off one and drop it right in there. Get the same thing done, right? Now we can take our spooky background and drop it out into the back. So we have a couple options. I guess if we'd built it like 2D, like it probably should be, because it's really like a 2D game, then I'd put it as a sprite. But since I didn't, and I'm just kind of screwing around with 3D one, I'm just going to make a quad and throw it in the background. So let's make a quad, assign the spooky material to it, kind of scale it up, get it into the background, and get it so that I can see it, and then start scaling it more. Here, let's actually put this side by side. So you can see the game view and the scene view. Go to, there we go, the rect tool. And we could scale it even to fit and kind of stretch it out. I think it still looks neat. Yeah, that definitely looks cooler. I'll save that off. Now I'm kind of feeling like the perspective camera might be better just so I could see the tops of those. I don't know. I'm having fun with it though. So let's save that off. And let's grab that main camera here. Let's pull the game view over here. So if I did do that, if I took the main camera and I went back to perspective, obviously not leaving it just like that, but I went to perspective and go to 2D mode or 3D. Let's go find the camera again. Just thinking like if we'd brought it. Wait a minute. What if I just want to try this real quick. I'm going to try parenting the camera under the PunKin, zeroing out the X and Y so that it follows the PunKin's height. I'm curious. Let me try that. But then I'm going to play with it real quick. I'll see what it feels like and then decide if I want to spend a couple minutes fixing the background and see if it's going to be like an interesting way to play. Okay, let's see. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so maybe I'm liking the feel and the look of it, but obviously not with the spinny spin. So let's pull in Cinemachine. I think what I'm going to do is set it up to follow him lightly or relatively tightly. We'll fix the background so that it fills up, and then have it kind of follow him as he's bouncing along. I think that could be fun. And then with the Cinemachine, we can add in the little barriers and boundaries so that it's not super tight. I think that's going to be right. That sounds like fun. Let's do it. So package manager, and then we go in package manager to search for. Oh, I don't really need to search. It's right there. Go select Cinemachine. If you don't see it, by the way, make sure you're on all packages, not just the in project one. And we'll install it. You liked the spinning upside down part? Nice. Just reading through the chat. Don't forget to like the video, by the way, everybody. It's only got 22 likes right now. 23. There we go. All right. All right, so Cinemachine is in. If you haven't used Cinemachine before, by the way, it's really cool. Camera controller for Unity makes controlling cameras nice and easy. So it's something I would highly recommend you at least play around with. Now we'll create a, let's see, we want to create a virtual camera. And then the virtual camera is going to have a follow and look at target of the pumpkin. So it will follow the pumpkin. Actually, it doesn't even need to necessarily look at the pumpkin. It's just going to follow. Let's hit play now. See how cool and easy that was? Like, that was literally, look, it spins, bounces. All I did was create a camera and assign what it was following. I didn't have to do anything else to make that work, which is why I like it. Now, there's a ton of options here. I can change how fast it follows, how tight it follows, how close it is. There's a bunch of settings on here. Follow offset. So if I want to pull it out or in, or go up or down from it, or left or right, or if I want to adjust how much it dampens, like how light or closely it follows, can adjust it right there. So it's really cool if you haven't used it. But a camera follow script would work too. But I can just do this. I don't have to write any code, and I have a ton of extra functionality without having to write anything. It's just all kind of there, and it does, like, this is 1% of what Cinemachine does. Like, just the fact that I can just create a VCam, assign it, and have it follow is just a nice little benefit. Now I want that background different. So for the background, I'm trying to think what I want to do. Like, what to do. Let's see. Let's pull the scene view and the game view side by side. I mean, we could just pull that back and scale it up for now. We could make it a UI component and have it kind of stick on there. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I hadn't really thought much about a background, so I don't have a whole lot of idea for how I want to manage it. I know that I'd like it to go on for a while though. So let's scale this to like 40 by 40 by 40. It's still not going to really work. And let's bring it in closer to the camera. And just let him bounce around with it in the back. I don't like I like the background itself. I just don't like the way that I have it set up yet. And I'm not really sure how I want to do that. I guess realistically, the background isn't a key part though. So let's just get it okay. The background is just there to make it look kind of cool. Let me try doing it on a UI later and see if I like that real quick. So go to game object, UI, and we'll just make an image. Where's image? I always miss that one. And then for the image, I'm going to go select my spooky. I'm going to change it to a sprite for a moment. A sprite and apply. And then we'll find the image, attach the spooky, and then we'll make it fill the screen. And we really want this to render before. I feel like it's just going to be weird though as a background. I guess a skybox would be not a bad idea either. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of options. But this texture size is really weird too, right? It was 1700 by 800. I'm not even sure what would happen if I try to put that in a skybox. I think it's gonna get really weird and stretch, right? So I want to push this back. How do I push the UI back behind the 3D stuff? It's been too long since I needed to do that. Well, we could just make the main camera do this. Say, hey, clear box. Clear, don't clear. And then we'll make another camera. Just make a camera. I'll call this background. And this one will clear to solid color, and it will only render UI. So uncheck everything and only do UI. And then this one is going to not render UI. So we'll go to culling mask and uncheck UI. And then we have to put them to draw. Let's see, which one is it? Sorry guys. I'm trying to remember how I did this last time. It's been too long since I tried to draw a background in the back. So clear flags, don't clear. That looks right. That looks right. Why is it, why is it showing up in the background still? Hold on. Let's get rid of that quad. And then if anybody sees the canvas order of the layer. No, there's I need to set the camera's rendering order. This camera should be rendering first. I just forget where. There we go. Just need to pull that depth back and then turn this canvas on. Oh, and this shouldn't be screen space overlay. Screen space camera. Set to the background camera. There we go. That was the problem. So overlay, it's going to draw on top all the time. The screen space overlay. I just had it set like that. So set it to camera, set the camera there, and now we've got a background that's drawn in 2D and our 3D foreground. Let's see. So the background should just kind of stay the same. Not amazing, like it's not a cool parallax background like it should be, but I think it's good enough that I can bounce it around and try to avoid things. Oh, somebody's asking for advice on how to offer Unity extension development work. I'm not sure where you would do that. It's not something I've come across a lot. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there using them. I just don't know of anybody who like specifically hires for those types of things. All right, cool. So we got a pumpkin. He bounces around. We blew a good amount of time just setting up a background because that's what happens when you start messing with stuff like that. And now I want to do some more game mechanics stuff. Oh, I want to add in ghosts to avoid. Set those up moving around. I want to have some sort of a target to get to. I feel like it just needs like a goal though, like something that you try to get to, and some code, like maybe something for whenever it bounces, having him do something interesting. I don't know. Like I said, game design is not necessarily my strong point. Collectible thing could be cool too. Maybe my wife wanted candy corn. Let's see. Let's see if we can add in some candy corn. Is there any 3D candy corn? Does not look like it. There's definitely lots of candy though. Yeah, let's go. I'll go for ghosts first. I know I've got ghosts we can use. So I've got these toon ghosts are good. Yeah, let me use these guys. Did not have them on this account? Yeah, I guess not. We'll grab some ghosts. Oh, whoops! I hit OK long before I had finished the checkout. My fault. Sorry. All right, let's check the button and hit the button and grab our ghosts. So we'll use these little dudes, maybe have them fly around, and I kind of want to do something with the light coming out of him too, like maybe do that as as his weapon. Like have it so that if he's facing towards them, his light like stops the ghosts. I think that could be cool. Let's do that. That'll be interesting at least. All right, view and cart. Come on, give me my ghosts. Let's pull these things in. So thinking like, a jump if the light is hitting them or they're like in the ray, then we can do something different to the ghosts, like make it so you can go through ghosts, but only if your bounce lines up so that you're facing them. I don't know if that's going to be fun, but it'll be, that's the point of prototyping. So I do this kind of stuff, just mess around and see what's fun and what sucks, and do it in a nice, quick, easy way. So we can just throw it together, and we don't have to. This is not the kind of thing I'd want to blow a week prototyping out, right? Like, is this fun? Is it a neat mechanic? I don't know. We're gonna find out. So there we go. We got tuned ghosts. Let's see. They've got controllers. What are they? They probably have animations, right? Let's see. Let's save our sample scene again. I'm going to go into the demo real quick and just see what it looks like. Okay, so they have a couple different animations. I think we'll probably just use the normal floating one. Yeah, we'll just go with the simple flying. So take a blue ghost. Let's go back into the sample scene. Let's go find some prefabs and just take a random ghost. Drop it in at 0, 0. Move him over here. Check him out in the game view. Oh, it's too far over there. Let's move him back over to the left a little. And rotate him. Cool. So that's what the ghosts look like right now. I think that I want them to be transparent though. So let's expand that guy out and see if transparency is an option. So there's the mesh. Standard material. Let's change it from opaque to fade. Ooh, I don't think that's looking too likely to work. Oh, maybe. No, not really. Yeah. That's going to be an issue. I mean, it's not really an issue. Just I kind of wanted to go with some transparency, but I think it's going to be too much work to get him transparent. I probably just turn down the emission though. I think it's just the emission is so bright on them that it's making them kind of blow out. Oh, maybe what I can do is make them glow up when they get lit up. So when they get lit, I can just turn that emission on. And then when they're not lit, make them dark. So then go like, hey, they're lit up. And then we can go right through them. I don't know. Seems like fun. Let's try that. So we got a ghost here. Ghost is going to be a bad guy. Let's start with him just maybe moving up and down. I don't know. Let's see. What would be a good movement pattern for the ghosts? So I feel like almost like a circle would be good. They just kind of move in well, let's start with up and down, right? We'll go like from a start point to an end point. Or from a start height to an end height. Let's just add a simple script. Let's keep it simple. We don't need to do anything crazy. Let's call this ghost up down. And we'll add that. Just create a new script. Get to writing some more code. All right. Let's see. First thing I want to do on enable is cache the Y position. So let's add an on enable. I'm going to say like starting Y position or start position Y equals transform dot position dot Y. And we'll just cache that as a float. The reason for this is I want to go up and down some distance from that float. I'm going to add another float, so just copy and paste. And let's call this height variance. And I give it a value like 2 and make it a serialized field. So what I was thinking here is that this would be how high up and down it goes from the start position. And then we'll add a direction. So private float, or let's add a bool. Well, what do I want to do? Private float. Yeah, let's do a float. Why does it keep doing that? Private float space direction. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to default this to 1, which will be up. So up will be 1, down will be -1. It could do like an enum and direction stuff, but I think it's overcomplicating it for what we want here. We don't need a start. We might need an update, and I don't know why Rider is not fitting right. There we go. That's better. There we go. Rider, go ahead and fix Windows Defender. Have fun. Okay, so let's say private here, just because I like to. And then we'll move in the direction that we want. So we'll say transform.position or transform.translate. Let's do it that way. And we'll give it our direction. So we'll do vector 3.up times direction, and then times time.delta time. And then we'll check if direction, or we want to check the position now. So we'll see if we went too high. So if we check our if transform.position.y is greater than start position y plus height variance. In that case, we want to switch directions. So we just do direction start equals -1. Now we can copy that and say if it's less than the start position lower, then we also do the same thing. So those are both the same thing. This could be like an else if, it could be an if, or just put else just to make it a little bit more explicit. It could also be an or, so we could say like if that's the case, in fact, that's probably the way I do it. That or that, then do that. And then I would put braces here because it became unreadable. So just say, hey, if we went out of position, then move. In fact, we should do our movement after that. So do Alt-Shift and just drag that down with the down arrow. Nice feature in Writer. Just moves the whole line or selection down. So yeah, I think that's it, right? That should move our ghost up and down. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Let's see, let's hit play. Ghost should bounce up and down. Whoosh, there he goes. There he goes. Oh, look at that. There's our ghost. He does have a shadow under him, kind of an issue. And he doesn't kill us, but he's moving. Neat. Let's see. Let's adjust that. I want to give him some speed control, so let's copy and paste and call this like a move speed. And right now he's at 1, so doubling it to 2 might be good. And we'll go down here and just multiply it by that. So we're adding it to that translate call. Let's try that with him going a bit faster. There we go. Look at that. Whoosh. Ah, okay, cool. So we've got a ghost now. We've got a pumpkin, and we probably need to make a way to get past the ghost, or a reason to get past him, not just bounce through him. So let's make the ghost have a collider and make the ghost a murderer. So we'll say like a box collider because he looks pretty square. Go into here and drag it up. That was F, by the way, to just focus on a thing. We get our box. That looks pretty good. Let's scale it up just a little bit. Make it a little bit taller than him. I want our players to suffer. And we'll make him a little skinnier, though, because he's too wide. Oh, wrong one. There we go. More like that. So you actually have to hit him, but if you tap him, you're dead. So we got a box collider. Now let's add a, well, let's see. Let's add a kill player script. So just add component. Let's say kill player. I'm just going to name it that. We'll open it right up. Come on, kill player, open up. There you go. So here, get rid of all this junk. And we'll just say on trigger enter. If, or we'll say like a var mover, or mover equals other dot get component mover. I just want to make sure that it's the player. We're not putting the mover on anything else. If mover is not equal to null, destroy. We're just going to kill the player's game object for now. Mover.gameObject. Totally bad. It's going to make it so we can't continue playing and stuff. But I just want to see it like poof and disappear. So we got our kill player script. When we enter the trigger, it should kill it. In fact, let's go back into that. Let's watch this. Let's add a couple things. Require component type of collider, because we want a collider on here. And let's add an onValidate. So onValidate, we'll say get component collider dot is trigger equals true, because I want to make sure that this thing's always a trigger. If I add it to something else, if I add the kill on player, and it doesn't have a collider, I want to know. I want to be like, hey, reminded. And if I do have one, I want to make sure it gets set to trigger. It's, again, simple, not really over engineering because it's a two-liner, and it's just sitting there to stop me from making accidents as I'm going through stuff. There we go. Bam. Look at that. So you may have noticed everything broke too, because remember, our camera was a child of the PunKin. So everything was good. Yeah, good. Let me look at the questions real quick. See, there's a little bit of chat going on. I don't know if there's anything. Does he ever talk to us or nope? Yep. Actually, yes. Yeah. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I'm just trying to focus not on this as much as possible. When I look at questions, my brain tends to shut off, and then I can't remember what I'm doing. But I'm trying to watch them both. So we've got ghosts that move around. We've got a PunKin that bounces around. What do I want to do? Like, say you hit a ghost. Do I really want to kill the player? I kind of do. I don't know. I don't know if I want to kill him or like make something pop out of him. For now, though, the next thing I want to do, I think, is... Well, here, let's change that code up. Let's make this do a... just reload the scene. We'll just make it restart. So say scene manager dot load scene 0. And it's just going to force reload our level. So we'll save. Let's try that real quick. Save this off. So at least then when I die and restart, it goes good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Okay, so every time we hit it, okay. Oh, if we hit it, we die and stuff happens. In fact, let's add a little kill area on the bottom of the ground too. Let's just go game object, 3D object cube, reset this thing. I'm just gonna put something so if I fall down too low, I just die. And I can just do that like, this is literally just for my test, so I don't have to worry about it. We'll add the kill player script and turn off the renderer. So now if I fall down and I miss, it's going to reset. And I don't have to worry about writing any code for it yet. Boop, there we go. I mean, obviously, if I fall too far to the side, it's not going to work, but this is good enough. Let's see. Oh, somebody's asking how their brother can brainstorm ideas. This is kind of how I do it. Just hop on, start messing around with stuff. I talk to people a little bit, write down some notes, and then just see what's fun, what's not fun, and go from there. Just start implementing quickly though, and you just want to do it as quick as possible and start going on stuff. Like don't wait around and don't try to draw out and guess what's going to be fun for too long. I have a hard time with that, at least. I can't guess what's going to be fun. I'm always wrong. Okay, so we're bouncing around. We got the kill spot, and I mentioned I wanted like the light, because if we look at our PunKin, he's got light in there. He's got eyeballs, and select him real quick. Expand out the material. So he's got some emission here, so I could turn his emissive off and on. And then I think he's got a light underneath him, a point light. So he's kind of lit up, but I want to have him like shoot light out of his eyeballs. So I'm going to go down here and create another light underneath him. So I'll go game object, let's go to light, and let's make a spotlight. I want it to shoot right out of the front of him, so we're going to rotate it. It's going to go this away. Let's see. Holding control, by the way, makes it do the snap. So that's why it's snapping by 15 degrees. I'm just going to type in a 90 there. So we've got it going at 90 degrees. Is it hitting the ghost there? Let's see. So I want to see like let's pause and play. I guess I want to see it lighting up the ghost and then figure out how I want that light to look. So we got I just paused it real quick. So I got the spotlight here, real time, indirect bounce shadow not. Oh, okay. It's fine. So let's turn up intensity. There we go. You can see the intensity, but I think if I make it orange or red or something and turn up, weird. It doesn't really make him glow like I'm thinking. I'm not sure what I need to do here. Cause I feel like I should have done this in 2D just so I could have done the 2D lights because it would have looked a lot better in the background. But I wanted to play with 3D models, so I guess I'm stuck. So let's see. What do we want to do? Let's adjust that spot angle. I mean, I can definitely see it lighting him up. Let's play and see. Kind of. Yeah, so when he gets lit up like that, I was thinking is he could turn transparent. Let's add a script. I'm gonna keep this simple, and we'll just add a script on the pumpkin that lights up any ghosts in front of them and maybe makes them whatever transparent. Yeah. So let's call this actually I'll do it on the light. Let's call this pumpkin light. Now all these scripts are going into the totally wrong folder, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. I have a scripts folder here, and all these scripts got directly into the root. Let's just drop them into here. Not doing a whole lot here, but I just want to keep it somewhat clean, right? We don't want to end up with too much of a mess, even if we're prototyping. Like it makes it harder to get around stuff. So in here, let's just do a ray cast. Let's get rid of the start, get rid of that, make this private, and we'll do a ray cast to say ray equals new ray, and we'll use transform.position, and we'll go in the forward direction. Then we'll do let's do a debug.draw array so we can see our array, and we give it the same stuff. Here, let's copy those. So go up here, copy, paste, and then we need a, let's see, it's color. So I usually go with red when I draw array, and then I'll give it a duration. We don't need a duration here because we're drawing at every frame. If we're not drawing every frame, like when we're clicking and shooting, then we want to do it so the ray stays. But since we're drawing at every frame, we're good. But we do need to give it a distance. So let's give this a distance, underscore distance here. That's for the direction. So when you're doing the draw ray, it doesn't have a way to set a distance for it. You have to actually put that in the direction. So we'll generate a field for distance, make it serialized, and give it like a range of, I don't know, 10 meters seems like it's probably way too high. Let's go to 5. So we'll draw that ray, and then we'll say if physics.raycast, and we'll give it the ray, we'll give it a distance, there we go. And then we say, oh, where's the one without hit info? That's going to be second. So say out var hit info, comma distance. Yeah, there we go. So if we hit something, hit info gets filled in. Oh, hey, thanks for the super chat. Green T Vic. Cool. Trying to remember to read people's names. Oh, yeah, I should definitely zoom. Sorry, thanks. If you guys see that too, if I don't zoom, let me know. Remind me so I can pull up some, zoom it in a bit and make it easier to read. There's no reason for it to be tiny. It's huge in front of my screen, in front of my face, but goes down to a tiny window for you guys. So if we hit something, we'll say hit info dot collider dot get component, and we're gonna try to get a ghost. So I'm just gonna call this ghost. Doesn't exist yet. Say var ghost equals that, and let's generate a class for ghost. So just go onto it, alt enter, create a type. Whoops, make it a mono behavior. We'll make it public. And then we'll go to Ghost and hit Alt Enter, and we're going to move it to its own file. By the way, this is how I usually create code files. If I'm doing a lot of code writing, it's almost always in Writer, just typing the stuff out and letting it create the files. I very rarely create new ones in Unity, except for when I'm just in Unity nonstop and barely ever, not creating many things. But most of the time I'm doing it like this. So I've got a Ghost file here. I'm going to go back to the pumpkin light. I say Ghost dot become invisible, or become lit, because it's getting lit. I think that's good. Now I don't have a way to unlight the ghosts right now, so I'm gonna have to think about that for a moment. But for now, we'll just add a method that make them become lit. No, this is not Visual Studio. This is Writer. It works just like Visual Studio. I just like it better. It's a slightly better editor for me for Unity specific stuff. I use Visual Studio outside of Unity all the time, but now I've made a switch a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, and I wouldn't switch back. It just does too much. It's not free though, but if you use Unity enough and you do enough code, it's more than worth like the $7 a month. It saves me way more than $7 just in time, just the speed of going through stuff and the little optimizations. So if you're doing Unity work professionally, getting paid for it, it's probably worth the investment. If you're just getting started out, play with the trial and all, and if $7 isn't a big deal, I'd highly recommend it. But if it's a hit, it works fine without it. So becoming lit, what is that going to do? Well, I want to disable the collisions, and I want to what else? Oh yeah, and Jason mentioned if you're a student, you can get all this stuff. You can get Rider for free. So I don't know the exact process for it, but I know it's definitely there. So check it out. So when we become lit, I want to, what did I say I wanted to do? Change the emission or make him transparent. Let's go on to the ghost real quick because I'm going to expose something and I want to make sure that we're exposing the right thing. So it's going to be something on this toon ghost. And what are we going to do? Are we going to change the material or just... Oh, that's right. I think I had mentioned turning up the emission, huh? That's right. So turning it on. It's not nearly as cool as going transparent though. Let me just do a real quick look here and see if there's some way that we can make him fade without, like if I turn off the emission and I start messing with the alpha, I think this is better. Let me do that. So what I'm going to do is switch his... Oh. Let me see. I'll go back to game view. He looks okay like that. I mean, it's not perfect. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to do fade, and I'm just going to change the alpha on here to fade him in and out. So he'll go like that, and when you light him up, he'll go like that, and when he's unlit, no. So you can go through them when they're lit and not through them when they aren't. Let's do that. So I'm going to set the render mode to fade on him, go back to the ghost. Actually add that ghost script. And then here, let's add a reference to the renderer. So serialized field, let's do private renderer, and then we'll get the render.material.color equals, because we can't just set the alpha. We'll set this as, let's do that. Let's set this as a serialized field. We'll generate that field. Come on, generate, alt enter, generate. There we go. And we'll add the serialized field attribute. Default to color.white. And we'll call this, well, actually normal is just going to be white. Yeah, okay. So this isn't going to be color.white. I think I'm going to go with a new color. So say, well, no, I'll just do white in there because I'm going to change it in the editor. So let's set. So go back into the editor. I did ditch the underscores and then I ended up going back to them. I got talked out of them for a while and then I talked myself back into them. So let's go back to the ghost. We'll assign the ghost as a renderer, set the alpha down to something low, and I think that's good. So now if I play, let's see what happens. It's probably going to instantly hit because he's right in front of us. Let's go to the scene view. Get these side by side and set that as 2D. Oh, look at that range. That is perfect. It's just outside. Let's see what happens if I bounce over here. Oh, look. Yep. I don't know if you guys saw him. He definitely went to that alpha mode. Now he doesn't go out of it. So let's change that. So how do I want to do this? I really got a couple options. No, I'm not going to put it up anywhere. We're just playing around. So I could keep track of the things that are lit by this, or Or I could be lazy, and since we're prototyping, I'm feeling like being lazy is a better way. So I was thinking like I could keep track of the things that are lit up, and when they leave, unlight them. But I mean, really, I just want to light anything that's in front of me. So I was thinking what I could do as another alternative, since this is just a quick prototype, is instead of ray casting from this spotlight, I could go down here and let's create another game object like a cube. Cube be right? Yep, I'll create a cube. So create a little cube here, and I can stretch this thing out, kind of like that. And just call it a trigger enter. Just go like, hey, if you enter the trigger of my cube here, you are a ghost. If you leave it, you are not a ghost. In fact, I could even drag this up and down a little bit so I have a bit more control. And turn off that mesh render, make this a trigger, and let's call this like light cube. Then instead of doing a ray cast on my pumpkin light, we could just change this to an on trigger. Let's undo that. Let's go on trigger enter. Whoops, not particle trigger. There we go. So on trigger enter, I can do the same. And we just do what? Collider.get component. Notice how we're just simplifying things here. And delete all that. And, oh, it's other. I really hate how it does that. Whatever, we'll call it other. Names it collider in one spot and other in the other. I guess it makes sense so that you know you're using collisions versus triggers. But still, drives me a little nuts. And then on trigger exit, do the same thing. But we'll call it become unlit. One other thing I want to do here is add question marks. Just so that if we trigger enter something else, it doesn't show up or doesn't call this and give us a null reference. This is basically saying if it's null, check it. Now it does give a warning in Rider because, here, I'll show it. Because it doesn't check the life cycle of the object. So if we had destroyed our pumpkin or destroyed our ghost and then called this, we could still get a null reference exception. I'm not going to destroy ghosts though, so I don't care. Now let's add a become unlit, and here we'll just say render.material.color equals color.white. And I want to clean this up even more. Like let's hit Alt Enter and turn these into expression body. Make them nice and small. There we go. It's a nice simple script. So we become lit, become unlit. Our pumpkin light. Let's just do the real check. Check expression for null. Let's do it. Do what Rider says. It's one of the things I like about Rider. People are talking about it in there. It's just that it constantly just reminds you, hey, stop doing stupid stuff, and it'll tell you, and it'll yell at you with little yellow text all the time. So there we go. Nick had mentioned adding coroutine. Oh, light having the lit fade and unfade. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We should do some sort of ramping there for the fading. But first, just make it work, and then we'll do that. So here, let's hit play. So as we go in, oh wait, what's happening? It's definitely not working. Why is it not working? Let's see, our light cube is there. What am I missing? I'm missing something here. Oh, we need, for trigger to trigger collisions, we need a kinematic rigid body, right? So we'll add a, oh wait, and then how's that gonna work? Let's see, we'll go on to here, we'll add our rigid body and set it to kinematic, not using gravity. That's right? Just get mixed up when I do these. That's what happens when you try to do little shortcuts. Yeah, it didn't have a rigid body at first. Now it has one. Why is he not? Here, let me stop. Let me pull these side by side and see what I missed here. I know I missed something. Let's get that right here. And I'm going to stretch this cube out and go to 3D mode. So that cube should be in there. Did I miss something? Anybody see anything? So we've got the light cube with the box on it. So the box should be, I have to put the script on the right thing, right? Let's move it from the spotlight over to the box. And play again. Let's see. Now. No, he's still not entering the trigger, is he? What did I miss here? Where's our ghost? So here's the ghost. He's got his up, down. He's got his box collider. He's got his kinematic rigid body. Make it non-kinematic. It didn't matter. What did I miss here? That's right. So, yeah, I think what I'm gonna, well, let me see. Yeah, so I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna make the ghost not a trigger, I think. It's changing now when I made the ghost not be a trigger. So there's really no reason for the ghost to be a trigger. I'm going to change the ghost to a collider, change the collision enter or the trigger enter that kills to just be a collision enter, and just make the ghost not collide with the environment. That seems like a good way to do it. A nice simple thing to do. Again, you just want to get this functionality working. So let's see, go back into the ghost script. Nope, not the ghost. It was the ghost up down, I think. No, it was the kill player one. So that's the problem I have, is that the kill player script is forcing things to be a trigger. I don't want that. So I'll say is trigger is false. And we're going to change this to on collision enter. And then this will change to collision. Then we say collision dot, what is it? Dot collider. Yeah. Dot get component. Same thing, but now our collision for our box should work. So let's go back into here. You'll see the trigger should get unchecked automatically. Our rigid body can be there. Yep, I think we're good. Let's hit play one more time. There we go. So he goes off on, well, only when I'm facing the right way, right? So if I bounce wrong, perfect. So the other thing I want to do is when he's in that ghost mode, well, I want to make it way more obvious that he's in the ghost mode, but I also want to make it so we can go through him. So let's make it functional first, and then make it so we can go through him. So here's that ghost script one more time. So when he becomes lit, right now our kill player script is always on. I can just turn off our kill player script, really. So we're gonna have to turn this out of an expression body method because we're gonna do two things in it. So let's change it back, and let's add an awake. And here we'll say kill player equals get component kill player. Cache that. And then here we'll just say kill player dot enabled equals false. And we can change this back over to a regular statement body and just do the opposite. Turn it back to true. So there we go. Now we can disable and enable killing players based on our little flashlight or our light sticking out of the front. Let's see if it works. In fact, what I'm going to do just to make this easy to test is go to my PunKin and freeze my rotation real quick. So I'm always facing him. So it's a little bit easier for me to do. Okay, so you may have noticed that, let's see. When I get into him, watch what's going to happen. Okay, that's not working at all. So let's see. Let's take a quick peek. I want to see if it's actually turning off the script first, and that I didn't miss something. Oh, that's right. So I forgot. Toggling the script on and off isn't going to fix the collision enter checks. I always forget about that. So it stops the updates, but it doesn't stop those collision checks. Toggling the game object off would stop those collision checks. But yeah, that's not what we want. So we're going to do that. Well, actually, I wonder if I could do this. Like, if this dot enabled equals false, return. I've never actually tried doing that. Let's see if that works. I guess we'll find out in just a moment. Okay. Look at that. Well, it does work. That's another issue I hadn't thought about. So, okay. This is a problem, right? So the camera's bouncing all around. But just going through prototyping this, I didn't think about that. I want to be able to go through this guy too. So I need to be able to get through him, but I need my light thing to collide with him. So we could re-architect it and re-engineer it, or we can just continue on since it's prototyping and just do some physics layers real quick. Let's do that. Let's say project settings. How do I want to do this? Let me think about this for just a moment. Yep, we're gonna do it. So we'll open up the settings. I was thinking what I'm gonna do. What I want to do is create a physics layer for the ghosts, and those ghosts are going to only. This physics layer is going to only collide with the light, and it's just going to turn them on and off. This would be like a. In fact, I might call this like a ghost light or something. Let's do that. Let's go to project settings. Where is that? It's always a pain to find. Is this one project settings? Yeah, that's it. And then we'll go to physics and let's add, oh, that's right. You can't add a layer here. You should go to layers first, edit layers, expand this out, and let's call this ghost light. Ghost light will only collide with ghost light. Oops, everything else can collide with itself, with whatever it was, but ghost light's only going to collide with other things that check the ghost light. I'll change the light cube to be in that ghost light layer. I'll change here's the thing. I want two things for this ghost. I want the ghost to have a collider that the players can die from hitting, and I want the ghosts to have a player or a collider that turns on and off the thing. So this is interesting. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change kill player back. So I'm going to go right in here. Undo. Oh, here. Let's redo that undo. Go all the way back to being a trigger. And then here we'll re-add that check though. So say if this dot enabled is equal to false, return. So we still won't do anything on the trigger enter if we've turned off the kill player script. On the ghost, we're going to add another collider. So I'll just go in here. And I'm going to add this as a child. Disable collider on ghost when the trigger's on state, and then make the trigger box bigger. Yeah, it's definitely a way to do it. There's a lot of options here, so I think what I'm going to do is just add in an empty game object. I'll call this light detector. So this is just going to be an object here to detect the light. A sphere collider on it. Move that up, and then I can kind of control the sensitivity to light too. So as the light gets into the sphere, I can turn the thing on and off instead of needing to do it the other way. Trying to get to pass through only when it's transparent. Yeah. So I'm going to change the layer on this to be the ghost light layer. It's going to collide with that, and then this is just going to be a light detector script. How do I want to do that? That's already on my... Oh, no, that's on the PunKin light. So the PunKin light, I'm just going to check for a light detector. And we don't have a light detector script, so we'll create it. Make a mono behavior. Make it public. And then this will reference the ghost. So just add like a awake, ghost equals get component and parent ghost. So just cache that ghost from the child, and then here we'll call I almost feel like being super lazy. Let's do it. Public ghost underscore ghost. So this is not what I would recommend, again, in a bigger project, but what we're doing here is just wrapping the ghost here in awake on this light detector. And then I'll go back to the pumpkin light, and I can just say, let's rename this to light detector. God, I love writer's defaults. And then I call light detector dot ghost become lit. There we go. And then I can just do the same thing down here. I'll just rename this. Here, light detector for the type. Hit Control RR, let it choose the right one, and add dot ghost. So now the main thing I would say, normally I wouldn't want to do this is making this ghost public and referencing it. Again, it's a prototype. We just want to see if the functionality is fun. Then we can start doing a little bit more cleanup as we go. If we don't even need this distance field. Let's delete that. We don't use it. Always good to delete unused stuff because it just adds to confusion later. I don't know if you guys have left code in a project long term and just, that you're not using. It ends up being a big mess. Like you'll end up with a bunch of weird stuff that you don't know why it's there. Don't know what's right, what doesn't get used. And you end up looking at a lot of code that you don't need. Perry the Pumpkin is this little pumpkin. I don't know why he has that name. Probably just because he needed something. He needed a name. Okay, let's add a light detector script. This will automatically grab that reference to the thing. And if everything works, we have some magic. We should be able to go through him. Yep, bam. But if I go backwards... Oh, wow. So wait, am I never dying? There we go. So I can die. If I was spinning around, it would be a lot easier to die. Let's try that. So let's make him rotate again. Uncheck the freeze rotation. We'll play. Yeah, he's a pumpkin named Perry. Yeah, I don't know why he has that name, though. Okay, let's make it full screen real quick and give that a go. Maximize on play. I just want to see if this is working kind of how I was expecting. What? Not really. So I'm kind of able to bounce through them no matter what. Here, let's debug why that is. So if I uncheck maximize on play, we'll make these kind of side by side and get a better idea of what's going on there. And go to like a 2D view here. Let's select that light cube and the ghost so that they're nice and lit up so I can see when he's turning on and off. And I bounce over here. So I can see it easily when I died that time, but... Okay, let's add the timing. I think that's going to make it a much better thing. So what we'll do is set it up so that he fades out for a little while and then fades back in. And then I think that's going to make it feel better. Then I can shrink that little area too. So let's do that. We'll go back to the hierarchy, pull the scene view over here. And, let's see. First things first. Let's go into the code for the ghost where he becomes lit. So open that up. And I think we will just use a coroutine. Just kick it off. Start the process of becoming lit and becoming unlit. That makes sense? Do you want to do it that way? Coroutine or a... No, let's do it in update. Let's add an update method. Let's see. And what do I want this to be? If unlit. Let's see. What I'm thinking here is whenever he is unlit, as soon as he becomes unlit, we'll kick off a timer, and then that timer will fade it out. I want them to kind of instantly pop when they're lit and then fade off when they're unlit. So say if, let's see, fade to opaque timer is greater than 0. Then we'll do fade to opaque timer minus equals time dot delta time. And let's make that into a float now, or a double. And then we'll say if that goes below 0, then if that is less than or equal to 0 after the timer's deducted, then we'll actually do this stuff. So we'll let's rename it. Let's make another method. Private Here, let's type it up here. Let's call this finalize unlighting. Weird name. Okay, and then we'll take this little chunk of code here, cut it, paste it into there, get rid of this random extra P, and then we can just set this fade to opaque timer here to like whatever, 0.5. We can make that variable. So the idea is when we become unlit, we'll set the timer. If we have a timer value set, we'll decrement it and eventually we'll do that. If we become lit again, I want to just clear that timer out. So we'll just set it to 0. And now since I'm setting it to 0 here, it's never getting into this part where it can finalize unlighting. So it'll just keep going until it gets set back. And I think that'll do it, right? So let's zoom it out in case anybody wanted to see all of the code for this script because it's gotten a little large. Yep, I think that's it. So no coroutines, just kept it nice and simple. Let's go try that out. Yeah, wait for seconds on a coroutine to just be a little more complicated because I'd have to add in extra code. So now he times his fade back in. Now I still want to do a fade in, so I wanted to kind of like animate that coming back, but I wanted to get him just popping first. So he does. Well, that was fun. Okay. Apparently my stream just disconnected randomly and my internet disconnected randomly again. I get disconnected and then it reconnects instantly. Anyway, so let's keep going. So we got him bouncing up and down and I want to make him do the actual fading. So we have so right now he's doing that finalize. I think what I'll do is do the fade in here. So if it's less than 0, do the finalize. Otherwise, we'll do a fade. And we'll fade it to whatever the fade to opaque timer has left. Right now, it's not going to be anything too complicated. So I think what we'll do is take that renderer and just adjust the alpha color there. Just trying to think of how I want to do this exactly. So say like I want to go from our current color towards solid white. Let's see. I guess that's the thing. Like a coroutine would be easy to do this in too. If we just kicked off a coroutine and did a fade over time. Sorry, getting disconnected from the internet really just confused me and mixed me all up. Right? So let's see. If we're gonna fade, we should do. Let's get the current renderer color. So say render dot color or dot material dot color dot alpha or dot a. So that's gonna be our current value, and we want to lerp that from its current or from 0 or whatever we're going down to from the alpha color. The alpha color is A to the white. So how do I want to do this? Sorry, I'm trying to think of how I want to set this up. So do like a color dot lerp. Actually, I want to just do that from alpha color to white, and we'll do it by the %. Yeah, that's what am I doing? So say the renderer's color material color is going to be this color. Now I don't have a %, so we'll generate a float for %. % will be the opaque timer divided by the max opaque timer. Is that it? So let's say we had a 10 seconds total, and we're at 5. We want to do the smaller number first. I always have to do these in my head. So we do the fade divided by total time, which is 0.5f. Let's make that into a variable. Total fade time. Generate a float for that, or double 0.5, and I'm going to make it a serialized field too. Then Alt-Shift, remember, and up arrow to move that up into place. Copy that, and let's, it wants to be a double. Let's just make these floats. There's really float. We don't need doubles. So there we go. We've got a %. Um, and yeah, we can fade it. I think that's right. Unless I'm missing something, we should be fading from that color to that color. Yeah. Let's go try it out. I got to double check. I kind of mixed myself up a bit. But I think that that's right. I think that that's going to give us the fade. It's a little hard to tell because there's too much going on here. So he's disabled. Let me just disable my pumpkin. Go back to the. Oh wait, I can't disable my pumpkin. Let's go to the pumpkin, and I'm gonna disable my light cube, and just step through a scene. But I want to select this ghost. I want to see what he's doing. Make sure I'm not crazy. So step, 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 step. He should be out of it. He should be fading already. Why is he not fading? Oh, is it because I never got the trigger exit? That's why. Yeah, I never got my trigger exit. Sorry. Let's try that again. Bounce. I need to go through it. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I've exited, and I just want to step through and just watch that. Oh, he instantly changed the alpha, didn't he? Okay, let's do a little lerp, debug log it, and see what I missed. Because I think I feel like I missed something there, and I'm just going. I just need to debug it. So just do debug.log, and we'll just log out that percent. Easy enough. Let's do a quick jump. And go to the console, clear that out, pull this up. Step, 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 step. Oh, we have 2 audio listeners. Okay, so I definitely should be out of that light cube, right? Maybe I made my cube too big. No, I'm out. No, I'm not out of it because the ghosts have that giant circle too. Let's fix that. That's probably part of what I'm seeing this weirdness for. So my light cube is huge, and my ghosts little trigger area was huge too. So I think it was confusing me a little. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you something else that I would do to debug this, and that's disabling the cube completely. Here, let me stop playing. Let's disable the light cube for a moment and go to the ghost, and I'm just going to open up the ghost script, and we're going to do this. Context menu, and call this unlight me, whatever. I just have to give it a name. So adding the little context menu attribute here, and just make it so I can just call this while we're playing at runtime and have it happen. So I can play. And I can just go right click on the ghost and hit unlight me and watch it go through that process. The total fade time is so fast I can't see it. So let's set this to like 5 seconds. Hit it again, unlight me. That didn't seem right? Like if we watched it. God, this pumpkin, stop moving. You're driving me nuts. Let's see. I'm going to pull this out. Oh, I don't need my main camera to necessarily be a child. I didn't realize I'd left it there. So I guess I could pull that out. I could make the pumpkin stop bouncing. There we go. Then we can do this. So I had set up Cinemachine for the camera and had it set to follow, and for some reason left it as a child. So now I can right click, hit unlight me, and watch it do what it was doing. So you can see it went from right here. Let's clear the values in here. Let's try it one more time. So my percents are all backwards, right? Like it started at 0.33, it went down, 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 all the way to the wrong number. So I've definitely messed up my logic here. So let's take a quick peek at it. Well, first let's set a time that's like 10 seconds. Clear it one more time and just watch it once. So you can see it still did the same thing. It went from 0.16 to 0. So I'm definitely doing something wrong here in my code. Let's take a peek. Oh, first this value is way off. I'm setting it to the hard-coded one. This is a timer, total fade time. Let's see how that fixes it. Because all I did there was make it so that my values were way off. Let's see, set this back to, let's go to 5 seconds. Hit play. Oh, I have my pumpkin still bouncing. Stop bouncing, Pumpkin. You're driving me nuts. All right. Now mover. No, not that. Let's find the ghost. Right click and tell him to unlight. And he's becoming more and more and more transparent and then popping. So he's going the opposite direction. So what I need to do is instead here for my percent, I need to do 1 minus that value because I want to invert the percents. Very easy to mix those up. Or I could have alternated the positions of those colors. I guess that would work too. But I want to go from 0 to 1, like my fade in amount. All right, grab my pumpkin, turn him off. Grab my ghost, right click, tell him to unlight and see if he does a fade in. He did. So there we go. He does his little fade in. I still feel like it's not enough. It's not kind of flashy enough to see it. So let's see if there's something. The emission is off. I wonder if it should like turn up the emissive value too. Maybe like do both. Oh wait, but that's right. I think if he was faded out with the emission on, he looked really weird, right? Yeah. But I guess I could turn on emission when he. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Let's go back into the code and just turn that on when he becomes unlit, or when he becomes lit too. So like render.material.emission. Where is it? Oh, that's right. We have to set the property. Set proper. What is it? Property. I don't know if I want to do this. I feel like this is going to be a mess of what I'm going to end up doing. And I'll probably want to do a particle instead. Let's go back into it for a second. So actually, I want to play it because like the whole point of that was so I could play it, do the fading, and make sure that it was going to work like that. But I turned off my light box, so let's turn that back on. So the light cube has the trigger. It's going to make him fade off, and then he should fade back in when we get in range, or after a short amount of time. So I should be able to go through him temporarily, and then eventually he becomes deadly again, I think. Okay. Oh, okay. So I think my light is a little too far. Let's bring that in. And I almost feel like this needs like some... I need to be able to see where I'm lighting up. Like I don't feel like I can see that very well. Like I can see that the guy became kind of less deadly, but it's definitely not very obvious, and it's not very clear where that area is. So let's make that change. Go into the ghost. I think the alpha color just needs to go like way down, and maybe I could even change him so he's like kind of... Let's see what that looks like. I don't know. Make him kind of like red and alpha. I wonder if that'll... That might be a little too much. It's kind of close though. Let's turn that up just a little bit. So it's at 16. I'm going to go to like a 30. Cool. All right, well, we got a ghost we can bounce through. And I want the light to show up better, so let's do that next. I'm not sure how I'm going to make the light show up better, though, because the way I've set up my background UI, it's kind of a mess. Maybe I can do something weird with this. Let's add a material here. I can just make like a transparent little box that's glowing orange or something as a light for now. So go into materials here in our art folder. It's kind of auto-created. Call this like pumpkin light. By the way, I still think the 2D lighting system is probably the way I should have gone with this after, like I've seen some of the demos and it looks really nice, looks really cool. I think it'd probably be cooler, but I just didn't think of it at the time. So let's play with this. So give it like something like that, like a yellow that's very transparent and set to be very transparent. not particularly a fan of the shape. I wonder, maybe we should try like a building a little shape in Pro Builder. Let's do that. Let's go into the package manager, because I don't want something too complicated, but I don't want a cube either. And I just want to show, like, let's make a really simple shape. We'll use that shape as our, like kind of like a cone. So import Pro Builder real quick. All right, it's almost in. Anybody have any questions while I'm building this stuff, though? Or while we're waiting for things to import? Do I drink beer? Not really. Not often. I mean, I did a lot when I was younger, but I don't know. I rarely drink now. Not for any real reason other than I feel like I can't get much done when I do. I feel very unproductive. Pretty much any type of intoxication makes me very unproductive, so try to minimize and avoid that. Just because, yeah, you get this. I feel like you get kind of the same excitement that you can from making and releasing things too. It's like an easier way to do it. Making a release and stuff is a lot harder, but it's also like works out better in the long run. Like, I've definitely had times. I remember the worst one was when we had an event at Sony. So we have every now and then we'd have these little parties to celebrate something, and we're gonna go in and make a new shape, by the way. So we'd have parties to go and celebrate something, like a launch of a game or a launch of an expansion or something that went on. And one of them, we're outside, just it's like noon. They bring in a bunch of kegs and food and barbecue and stuff, and we're eating and drinking, and around like 4 we're kind of done, things are wrapping up, most people have left, and I'm waiting for a ride home because obviously I ain't gonna be able to drive because I've been drinking the whole time, and started coding. So went in and we're like in there, me and one of my buddies are in there working on some stuff, coming up with all these ideas, coding some stuff up, and come back in the next morning and looked at what I had done. We were also doing all kinds of other crazy stuff, but looking at my code, and like all kinds of terrible. I spent more time, I think, deleting and trying to clean up the weird nonsense that I'd made. So that was when I learned that I can't drink and code anything that's gonna work, or that I'm not gonna regret much later. And every time I've done that, that's pretty much what happens. All right, so let's see. We pulled in Pro Builder. I want to open up the Pro Builder window. If you haven't used Pro Builder before, it's just a cool little tool for building shapes and things in game. I use it for coder art. Some artists can use it to make real things. That's not me. Like I can't quite get there. But we can just make a little shape here, like our cube, and put it into position. Kind of line that up, and then we can take the side here. Or here, let's just disable that thing. Let's work on my cube. So go to the cube, and I'm going to grab, well, first, let's scale it down just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab this face here. So I can take, like, if I go to the face selection mode, I can actually select that little face right there that you see. And I can grab it, and I can drag it out. I can also scale it up, though. So I can go whoosh, and like this, and see how I've got, like, this weird spreading out camera frustum cone shape. Now I can do that, and I can just drag this out more. I can kind of stretch it to the shape that I want. And I was thinking something kind of like that, maybe. And maybe even smaller at this base. So I'll select this face, and I can scale this face down. Hopefully you guys are seeing how cool Pro Builder is to just make these little things. Move tool. Oh, oops, I don't want to move that. So right now I'm in face selection, and I hit move. I was moving that. I'll go to object selection mode, and I can move the object kind of into the place that I want. And I want it to be basically where the light cube is. So here, let's reset that transform position. Move it out here, scale it down a bit. It was definitely too big. And maybe up and into there. And then we'll give it that weird pumpkin material and see how it looks. There we go. Not perfect, but I think it's certainly better than what I had a minute ago, right? So we'll take the light cube, And I'm going to move that pumpkin light onto this one. And let's see, do we have anything else here? Just had the collider and the light cube. I'll call this like a light cube 2. This is our new version of our light cube. Are we good there? Did I miss anything? We've got the script. I don't know. This should work. And now I can see things. Oh, okay, but now it's not working. Why is it not working? So the light cube is hitting the things. It's shooting out my eyeballs. But the collision isn't happening. What did I miss here on the collision? What's different? They both have a material. This one had a box collider that's a trigger. This one has a mesh collider that's not a trigger. So let's check convex and trigger and see if that does it. Bounce over here again. What did I miss there? I'm not sure what the problem is. Let's see. Is it because convex triggers aren't going to work? I guess I haven't tried that. What is the problem here? Somebody asked where I was from, state-wise, California. Just down by LA, basically. Which is really nice. I love it. Not right in the city. Far enough out of the city that there's lots of space and it's relatively quiet, but I can also get to the city and anything that I want in a relatively short amount of time. Why is my light cube here not working? Anybody have an idea? Anybody know what I missed here? Let's see. I am not sure what I missed there. What was the problem? Here, let's just turn on the other cube too. I want to see. So it's... Okay, that's just weird. I don't know why that cube is not working for the collision. I'm going to just move the script back over here for now. Oh, shoot, the layer. Thank you. See, this is why I hate layers. It's so easy for me to forget them. Yes, that was it. I'm almost positive that's it. So let's go. Yep, there we go. But now it's not visible because I made it not show up in render. Okay, that's interesting. So the rendering is happening in the background, and then the light. How do I want to do that? Let's see. Let's hold on 1 second, guys. I'm live streaming, and if you keep shouting,
Dad, you've been screaming. You've been screaming. Remember, I hear things 3 times louder.
All right. So let's duplicate this one because I want to be quick with this, and we'll put this one onto the default layer, disable the collider and the script, and I'll just remove those. So then we'll get the visual on one copy of it and the actual interaction on the other. Let's call this light cube visual only. And then this is the collision only. So same mesh twice, whatever, it's fine. We'll hit play, we'll bounce around. There we go. Thank you for calling out the collider, or the layer. Oh, wow. Nice, okay. So that's fun. I think I want to do one other change to it too, though. I want to make it scale out. Maybe not. I feel like it should get bigger and smaller, that light. Oh, first let's just move it in. Let's grab the two. I gotta grab both objects now. I'm gonna actually make a child for them. Here, let's do that. So create an empty. Let's call this light cube. I'm gonna move it to wherever this is, reset everything, and then move it out, and then make these two children of that. Mostly because I want to move this thing around and I don't want to mess up and move it separate from the other thing. There we go. Get them side by side. And just kind of see where that... Oops, wrong one. Let's grab the blue. Okay, let's try grabbing red. Grab that there. And I feel like this should be back over this way a little bit more because I don't want it sticking out in front of his face. Change it to have him shoot from his eyes. Oh, that'd be cool too. So let's see, we've got him showing up there. I feel like this should be like a sphere or a cone though. Like that shape is just weird. And we have Pro Builder, so let's see if we can change that real quick, just because I don't like the shape. So go back into Pro Builder one more time, Tools, Pro Builder window, go to that new shape tool. Oh, whoops, let's hit the plus. Bring up the shape selector tool and add a, what is it, a prism? No, it's a, not prism, what's the pointy, cone, the pointy type thing, right? And then give it a, more sides, so it's a lot more rounded. Yeah, I think that's gonna look a little bit better for what I wanted. And we can give it a longer height, a slightly smaller radius. Yeah, I think something like that might be good. So let's hit build, and I got a cone. Drop it down under my light cube, and reset that rotation. Oh, not that one. This one, nope, not that one. There we go. Set that to 90 on the Z. Move that sucker right up there. Yeah, let's see how that looks. Not very smooth, but let's see if I put the material on it, how that looks. Pro Builder default, which one was it? It was our PunKin Light. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's not perfect either, but I feel like it's a little bit better. It feels more rounded and less like a weird cube. So let's see, I'll take my cone and duplicate it, make a cone visual and cone collision, because again, I'm just gonna keep them separated, and set that layer to ghost light for the rendering, and take the script here, the PunKin Light one, and just drag it over to that cone collision, disable this one, and then this one was just a visual, right? So I could disable that. And I think we're good. Now I can move this guy up a little. Or here, let's move it in, up, and then back. There we go. I want it just there. I think that's good. Good enough. All right, let's play one more time. Let's see. Bam. Oh, crap. Okay, let's disable those, all the extra stuff that I've created. Here, let's get rid of those extra 2 cone lights. Get rid of these extra 2 cubes that I just randomly threw into the middle of the scene. Do we have anything else? Where's that other cube coming from? Oh, that's the Pro Builder window. So when you open the Pro Builder window, you get that little blue preview of the thing that it's going to create, and that's what it was showing me there. All right, so there we go. Wait, what? Why did he not turn off? What did I miss this time? Oh, I gotta check the boxes on the collider, right? So this needed the convex is trigger and play. There we go. So now he turns off. I can get through him. I think the turn off time is way too long, obviously. Oh, and they stop moving when they're turned off. That's an issue. Why did he stop moving? Am I turning off that whole script, the moving one? The move up, down? No. Let me see. What else? So he stops. It turns off the kill player. Now I don't know why he stopped that. Let's check it. Whoops. I've died. Oh, and our ground, I accidentally deleted the killer ground area. Okay, so hit that guy. He's a ghost. He comes back. And if I hit him again, he'll kill me. Okay, let's add a bunch of ghosts and see if it's even any kind of hard. So far, I've just been playing around with goofy mechanics. I have no idea if it's actually going to be any kind of fun in a actual level. So what I want to do is just try to do a really quick set of level building. So let's save this off. Let's see, where's my killer ground cube? I'll add that in a minute. So this is our player. I'm going to rename this to player. And then let's just clean up the scene a little bit and pretend that we're doing something real. Because when we're going to build out a level, having it somewhat organized is pretty helpful, and it'll make this a whole lot quicker. Let's call this environment. Oops. I'll put some square brackets around it. And then I'll make another empty one for ghosts. And I'm just going to reset the position on both of those because I want these to be zeroed out. They're just going to be transform roots for our hierarchy. Take the ghost and just drop them into there. And then we'll take these platforms and drop them into the environment. Background, camera. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where I want all this stuff. This will go into environment. The directional light is really just general environment stuff. Let's see, what else do we need? I'll move these things kind of up out of the way. The canvas we're not actually using, so we'll delete that and we'll delete the event system. Oh wait, no, we are using the canvas, apparently. That's right, I used the canvas for the background. Okay, let's create a background object too. So create empty background. Hit reset, and we'll take the canvas and the background camera and just drop those on there. Okay, I think that's good. So that gets us to a slightly cleaner version of the stuff. Now let's actually make a little bit of a level here. So I want to start them off, no ghost on scene. So first ghost to be kind of over here somewhere. So start with bouncing, and first challenge is just get to the second platform, right? So it's like bounce a couple times and bounce over to the next platform. Once they've done that, bounce over and bounce to a slightly higher platform. And once they've done that, maybe one more regular bounce, and then they practice bouncing down to a lower one. Let's get these in order too. Kind of put them in the order that we see them in. So this is right here, and then this one goes right there. So then this one would be like, hey, they bounced. Oh wait, no, this was they bounce over, and then this one I was actually going to move over and have them like bounce down. Not a lot of fun yet. Then we'll duplicate another one and have them bounce over a ghost. So that'd be like step one, get here and bounce past the ghost. Then we'll do another platform over here and maybe another ghost and another platform. Cool. Let's try that. See how it feels. Oh, actually, I should do maximize on play. Let's do that. So go game, maximize on play, and play. There we go. Bounce around. Oh, we're already starting to spin. Wobble and dead. That was a fail. Okay, let's put a ground down there too. So game object, we'll re-add that ground cube. Delete that. We go to game object, 3D object, and cube. Set this to like -10. We'll make it 500 wide and whatever, 10 meters deep. Doesn't really matter. And then we'll give this the kill player script. And I'll leave the renderer on for the first time we hit it. Then we'll just turn it off after. So if we fall down, we should see that. Okay, so we didn't see it. So let's go to the scene view and find out where that cube went. Oh, whoops, I put these in the wrong spot. Position is going to be 0. That's going to be that. And that. So we'll go to 0 and 0. Now if I go to the object in the scene view, there we go. That's closer to what I wanted, but I want it, I think, probably down even lower, right? Well, where's our player? Actually, no. Looks like it was in a decent spot. So right here, that's our play area. So if we fall down below that, we should die. Let's turn off the renderer. Save the scene one more time. Just fall to our death real quick. Boop. Cool. So now if I bounce forward, I should be able to try to... okay. See if I can make it. This is actually not very easy. Okay. That was actually, I mean, it's not Overwatch, but it's pretty close, right? Like, I mean, it's neat, fun little mechanic. Actually, kind of cool. I mean, it's not great by any means, but I think that I could do something kind of useful with it. So let's see. Let's say I take that. Let's hit W, duplicate it, and maybe I make it so you have to jump up here, and then duplicate it, and you have to jump up here somehow, and then over to here. Yeah, let's do that. So they have to jump up and get past some ghosts. So take this ghost and duplicate him, and maybe put like another version of him up here. So he's up a bit higher, and another one like around here. It seems like it's going to be extremely hard, but we'll see. Bounce around. This be easier with a controller, by the way, I'm sure. There we go. We hit that ghost, and we have a couple seconds. Oh yeah, I think I left that timer way too long for how I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm not very good at this. And roll to my death. That's interesting. I feel like I should just deploy it and let people play it. Anybody have some other just little ideas and stuff we can add real quick? I really just kind of wanted to prototype out some basic functionality, play around with it, and see what it was like, and also show that process of like what it's like prototyping and how much detail I kind of go into, and what kinds of things, little compromises I'll make back and forth when we're making these changes to make stuff fun and figure out what's fun and do it quickly. So if you guys had questions about this stuff, like, let me know if you have some suggestions or ideas. Somebody did ask about how to make a network game. It's dramatically different. You need to, I would say, first prototype out the single player version of it. Make sure that it's going to be fun and that it makes sense. Because once you go to multiplayer, like it seems like it's going to be 2 times harder. In reality, I'd say it's probably 10 times harder. If you want to make a networked game versus a single player offline game, it's so much harder, especially to get started. If you know how to do it, you've done a bunch of network stuff, it's only 2 to 3 times harder. But if you haven't done it before, expect it to be 10 times the effort. Let's see. Oh, simple collision sounds. That's a good idea, Jason. And a ghost that follows you so you can't go slow. Not a bad idea. And the roll should be timed so the pumpkin always lands. That's quite a bit harder. But let's do the other things. I mean, it's not a bad idea so the pumpkin lands, right? But it's just, I think it'd be a bit more complicated to figure out. It'd be a neat polished thing. So let's do collision sounds and then the ghost following you, because those are both very easy. So we'll go to the Mr. Player, and he's got a collider here. We'll just, let's see. I don't want to set this up. I want to do it on the collider. Yeah, let's do it. So we'll just do a bounce script. Let's call it here, let's go into the ghost and go to the bottom of it, and we'll say public class bounce sounds mono behavior. On collision enter, we'll play a bounce sound. And to play a bounce sound, we'll just pick a random sound from a sound array. Say int index equals random dot, oops, not that one. Why? Random. I want the Unity engine one though. So let's go up here. Get rid of using system for a moment. Dot range 0, comma, bounce sounds. Dot length. Now I'm messing up my using statements up there because I'm working in the same file. So I'm just going to move this to its own class and go back to Ghost and make sure it's good. It might need that using system statement. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was extraneous nonsense. Cool. So let's add bounce sounds. It's going to not know what it is, but it's going to be an array of audio clips. So just say like audio clip array, and we'll make that a serialized field. And then we'll play a random sound. So just say audio source dot play bounce sounds at I or index. Create an audio source field, and I'll just cache that in awake. Get the audio source component. Cool. So is that it? Oh, play one shot. That's what we want, not play. Yeah, and then Jason had mentioned throwing in some random pitch adjustment. So we do that. We just say audio source dot pitch. And I'm just going to copy his code. It goes random dot range 0.8f to 1.2f. So it's just a nice simple way to add in a little bit of variety on those sound effects. Let's do that. So we've got our bounce sound there. We've got bounce sounds array, and here. Let's add a little check here. So say if length 0 return, or let's do a log. We'll log an error. No bounce sounds assigned. And I want to get rid of this. I really hate when it does this, when it adds the random equals Unity engine.random crap. It happens when you have system.random and Unity engine.random there, and it tries to add it to clarify things. I hate it. Okay, so we've got our bounce sounds there. Let's go into the player. We should be able to just add that script and then add some sound. Let's add in some bounce audio clips. Anybody got any good audio clips for bounces? I'm going to search for the word bounce and then search for audio and see what we can find. Yeah, let's go to free. We just need a little boing sound or a couple. Where? Oh, pricing. Oh, interesting. There are no free audio options for a bounce sound. Interesting. Let's just go to audio and sound effects and see what we can find. Here, I gotta make this fit a little bit better. This window does not fit well at 1080p. All right, collapse 2D, not select 2D, unselect it. And go to audio, sound effects. Let's see what we can get. Some sort of a free little noise. Casual game sound effects. That sounds right. Oh, let's see. Tesla Volte Games asked, is it harder to do a 3D action adventure single player only game or a 2D multiplayer game that's real time or turn based? 2D multiplayer by far. Multiplayer it's just way harder. There's so many more things that you have to take into account versus when you're building a single player game. Single player games, like once you've built multiplayer games a couple times, single player games just feel really, really simple. So I would say always single player is almost always going to be easier. There are probably a couple scenarios you might be able to pare down something really, really simple on 2D and have a really complicated 3D thing. But in general, the multiplayer part is the hardest. Okay, let's see. We should have got some audio somewhere. Where did they go? Casual game sounds. I like blind. Let's hear some. I can't hear anything. Here, let's play them in the editor. Can you guys hear the sounds? That was an odd one. Trying to find a good bounce. 3 might be okay. 5 might be okay. Is this like thunk sound? No. That a lot of these look way too long. Let's see. There's one that might sound like a. I'm trying to find a good one here. Maybe one of these. Yeah, let's go for that. 21. So not a perfect jump sound, but it's a sound. So scroll down if we can, or just do the scrolling. Take 21 and drop it on there. What's 22? Let's take 22 on there too. I don't know what it is. There we go. We got two different bounce sounds. Let's play and see what happens. Oh, actually here, we had two audio sources on. So I want to turn off that audio source on the background camera real quick. So background camera, or it had audio listener, I mean. I'll just remove that. We don't need two audio listeners. Let's hit play one more time. And, oh, should probably make it actually call. Wait, why isn't it calling? Isn't it set as on collision enter? Bounce sounds. Plays on collision enter. Yeah, what? What's happening here? Why are we not getting our bounce? We are colliding, right? Let's log that we hit something real quick. I'm not sure what I missed here. So we're going to log out the thing that we hit. This is the string interpolation, the $ thing though. If you haven't used that, it's awesome. Definitely the best way to mix in your strings, or at least the easiest. Let's try it again. I want to see what's happening there. So I'm bouncing, and let's uncheck maximize on play. Game view. Oh, mute audio is on. That might have something to do with it. Oh, and there's no audio source. You can see the error right there in the logs. Sometimes you just got to look at it. So let's go to the player again. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Let's add an audio source. I should have added require component audio source to bounce sounds, and I wouldn't have had that problem. There we go. Those sounds are very different. Oh, it doesn't like my cone visual, by the way, but that's okay. We're not using the collider on it. Okay, well, one of those sounds terrible. The other one sounds less terrible. I'm just going to go with, let's see, which one was it that was, I think I like 22 more than I like 21, which is kind of funny. The 21 one was just too chill. Okay, whatever. I'm going to stick with the one sound. So it's got one sound picking a random range, and it'll bounce and make the noise. Let's make a ghost that follows you after this. I feel like it needs pumpkin splatters every time it, like little pumpkin pieces need to go flying out whenever it bounces too. Like it's just falling apart. But I want to get in that other ghost. So let's see. We had blue ghosts, and I think there were some other ghosts in here, some other colors. Let's just add in this orange dude, and we'll make him be the guy that chases you around. So I'm going to drop him under ghosts, rotate him, -90. And then let's turn him into his own new prefab, just like we did with the other one. Oh, I didn't do that with the other one like I thought I did. I did it with the platform. Okay, well, let's see. What do we have on our ghosts? So our ghosts have a ghost up, down, a ghost, and a kill player. In fact, you know what? Let's do this in a better way. Let's do this like we would if we were using prefab variants, because why not? We have an opportunity to use them. Now let's just name this blue ghost. Or, yeah. Actually, I'm going to name this ghost. It's just standard ghost. I'll drop it into prefabs and pull it down. My UI is a little different because I'm in 2019.3 beta. So I just grabbed one of the latest betas and went with that. Also why it's doing that weird flickering in and out thing. So I've got my ghost here, and I'm going to make a variant of him. So I'll take the ghost right here, right click, and hit create. And then we want to make a prefab variant. Where's that option in here? Prefab variant. It was right underneath me. So let's call this a chasing ghost. So he's going to be very much like a regular ghost, except he'll chase you instead of following. Oh no! Downside of a beta, right? It just blew up and crashed. Give it a second. Cancel. Go ahead and die. We'll reopen Unity. And then we'll go from there once it reopens. Let's see. Open up that project. And let's see. Hopefully we can keep going.
What is it? No, dude, that's actually.
Letting it load in. And we'll go back into our sample scene. Cool. Okay, so we've got our ghosts again. Let's go back to here. I think I may have lost the prefab though when it blew up. Oh, no, we got a ghost and we got a ghost variant. I don't know if this is going to work though, or if everything's just going to die. So let's change out the material on this variant first. So we'll expand out and find the the toon ghost, and we'll swap out the material here with this one. So now we've got a different material on them, and I need to change the behavior. So we need to get rid of this up down and do like a ghost chase, or maybe we'll add a ghost chase script. Let's do that. Let's say ghost chase. And then we'll open it up. And then in here we'll go like, let's find the player and then just chase the player. So maybe on enable, we'll cache the player. So say player equals find object of type, and we're just gonna find it. We're not gonna keep a reference to it or anything like that because we just don't need it right now. And we'll find the mover because that's the only thing that's on our player. And we'll create that as a field. Normally what we want to do is have like some sort of a reference to it, a singleton, or some way to get to it. But you know, sorry, YouTube is apparently not getting enough video quality. That's weird. It's giving me a little error. Hopefully it's still streaming through though. Next, we want to move towards that player. Hold on one second though. I will. All right. Last thing we need to do is make it so that it follows with the player. So we got the player, and we want to move towards them. So get the direction to the player. So just do var direction to player, and we'll take our current position minus the transform.position minus the player's position. And then we will just move in that direction. So just do transform.translate, and we'll go in that direction. Oh, we want to normalize it though. So do, or here, let's just do direction.normalized times move speed. And we'll make that a field. Serialize the field. Give it a value. Oh, oops. I think we're good. And get rid of those using statements. And I think we're good. Yeah, I did. Somebody mentioned started to stream more often. Yeah, I was doing them a bit more. They're kind of fun. Just get to go through and answer questions and build stuff out. I think that's it. So we got a ghost chase. I'm going to leave the move up down part on him because I think it might be interesting. It might be terrible though. Might be moving weird, all kinds of craziness. And we should probably move the movement stuff out of update into fixed update. But I don't know. I haven't done any of that yet. Again, just prototype. So let's put this guy right here and hit play and see what he does. Oh, not exactly what I was thinking he would do. I think I might have did I put my direction backwards? Tends to happen. Oh, and we want to multiply by move speed, or time.delta time. Let's try that again. Apparently we're getting lots of streaming issues. I don't know why. Let's see, where'd that ghost go? Okay, there he goes. Now he's coming towards me. But he's still going up and down, so I still have... Oh, and his Z position is way off. Why is his Z position off? Ghost variant. His Z is at 0. What is my Z for the player? 0. 0. I'm very confused. Why did he move along the Z axis? Let's hit play again and pause. Okay, so he's at that. He's just slowly moving along the Z. Why is he doing that? I'm really not sure what I did here. He should be moving towards me. Oh, I'm using... No? Did anybody see what I missed here? Why he's moving funny? I'm not sure what I did. I think I've been looking at the screen for too long. But he's moving along the z-axis, and we're just getting the direction. These should all be zeroed. I don't know why that's not zeroed. I'm just going to zero it for now. I'll say var direction equals new vector 3 of direction to player dot x, comma direction to player dot y, comma 0. Because I'm not sure what's happening there, and I don't want to figure it out right now. All right, one last time. We'll go in, and hopefully we have a ghost that chases us now. Let's see. Oops. I think he needs more speed. No? What the hell did I do wrong here, guys? Is it my... I don't see anything in chat either. I was waiting for somebody to give me the magic answer to see what I missed. I know I'm obviously looking at something wrong. I just don't know what it is or why I'm missing it. So if anybody's got a thought. I do still have the ghost up-down script attached, but I don't think that should break it, right? Like, here, let's reset the position on this. Oh, it is. It does break it. Why does the ghost... Oh, because they're both moving it. Okay, yeah, let's stop playing. It's a very good point. So if I remove this from the variant and just use the ghost chase script, that should fix it. And yeah, I probably should do the movement in fixed update. I mean, I definitely should. Here, like I said, prototyping and getting a little sloppy, so it didn't yet. But yeah, it's still weird. Why the hell did it do that? Even without this chase script on, it's still it's acting strange. And I'm just not sure what I did wrong. Let's see, give it some more move speed. Why is it moving on the z-axis? Sorry, is it bouncing really loudly for you guys too? Yeah, I guess I'm not sure why the z is changing. What have I done here? Is it? It is. It's because I wasn't thinking. I think it's the rotation and the use of my use of translate. No, hold on. But why did that? This is a little frustrating. It happens. Okay, so I died again. Oh, I'm dying because I reset. When I reset to 0, it goes back and it kills me. I was like, what is going on there? Okay, so let's change that to 0. That's the problem. It's the rotation. It was completely my fault. So I'm using translate and forgetting that he's rotated. I'm just going to move the position. I'm going to be really lazy with it. So I'll just do transform dot position plus equals, and we'll just move it by the offset amount. And we'll just combine all that. So that, I think, is going to fix it. We're going to end up with some weird stuff. The mover is on the player. There we go. That's better. That's more like what I was looking for. Of course, we're not moving it with physics now, and we're going to get some other issues. Do we have the kill play? Oh. And we're turning it off. Okay, so let's see. The other thing we need to do is with this ghost variant, I think he is getting turned off by his light detector, but he's not showing up as invisible because of the material that we have set. So it's set to opaque, and it only works with fade. There we go. Perfect. So let's expand that back out. I'm going to set this back to fade, and now it should act like I was expecting. I think what was happening is it was kind of working, but I wasn't seeing the visuals for it. So there we go. Now we've got a ghost that follows. His movement speed is way too high though. So let's turn him back. Let's turn him down to like a 0.5 and save and play one more time. If anybody wanted the code for this too, like, I mean, obviously I can't share the art assets, but I can zip up the code folder. Okay, I died. I can zip up the code folder and stuff and send it off. I think I'm gonna just kind of wrap up the building of the stuff right now and take a couple questions real quick before I kind of clear stuff up and go do all the other things that I need to get done for the day. But it's definitely turned out more interesting and fun than I had expected. Had a lot of fun kind of putting it together. So anybody have any questions, stuff you guys wanted to ask about real quick before I kill this thing and yeah, do whatever? Give it like 2 minutes for people to type stuff in as I bounce around. Maybe I can get my my 11-year-old to play my game real quick. Let me see. Joe, you want to come play my game on the stream? No. It's super fun. You get to be a pumpkin. Apparently not. No kids playing pumpkin. Sorry. So, okay, let's see. Questions. Do we have anything? Our team works on 2018, thinking of migrating the latest one. What do you think about 2019? I'd say definitely if you can migrate, do it. It's worth it. There are a lot of benefits and there are a lot of cool new things coming that are going to make it even better. So I would go for it. We did it for a lot of the projects I'm working on, and anything that you're going to work on long term, keep it up. The pumpkin's bounce is actually really, really simple. It's just set up with a physics environment or a physics material. So we've got a rigid body here, just set up normal, and nothing's changed on it at all, really, other than freeze position on the Z so it doesn't go back. And then it's got a sphere collider with the bouncy material, which just double click on it. You see it has a bounciness of 1 and a friction of 0, and the bounce combined is set to maximum. And to make a physics material, you just right click, hit create, and find physics material somewhere here. And you just set those values. They go from 0 to 1. The reason I use transform.translate is I normally do. I don't normally move things with position if I want to use physics. I should probably be using the rigid body or translate and just moving things right. I was just getting lazy with it because it's not going to make a difference for this game because I'm not going to work on it long term. Let's see, what other stuff do we have here? Did a video on best practices, then you introduce an empty game object for holding an actual character. Oh yeah, I definitely, that was probably, if I hadn't gone and just done the sloppy code of moving it, I'd probably put it in an empty game object and then have the thing facing the direction that I want. Part of it is that like I want them facing a direction that wasn't their normal direction from the models. So yeah, it's probably what I'd done. An empty game object and put the visual underneath it and have everything else somewhat separated. What are the first steps when designing a new game? Do you start with the design, jump into coding? Do you prototype as fast as possible or plan? I start on paper, usually. I'll write down the ideas or on a whiteboard, talking with other designers, come up with a general idea. Try not to get too into it, but try to figure out like what the possible fun things are and a couple ideas for how it might be fun, and then go into prototyping and just start building stuff and see what actually works and just figure out those core mechanics. Like, is the core mechanic something that I could see as interesting enough or that inspires me enough to build something fun out of it? Let's see. How polished should a vertical slice be when pitching to publishers? That I don't know. I think you have to be talking to a lot of publishers. Not something that I do. I don't generally pitch to publishers. I know a couple guys who do that a lot, and I might be able to get one of them on to just kind of answer those questions. I know they usually like to be relatively polished and pretty nice. They want to have a fun experience that shows the core loop and is really polished, and they're usually trying to pitch like, we need to scale this up now, right? Like we've got this little 3-minute chunk and we want to build it into a 4-hour game or whatever. Let's see, what other things did we have? When did you first start learning how to program, and what was the first language you started with, out of curiosity? I started with BASIC, and I think the first thing I ever coded on was an Amiga something. It was my uncle's, or Commodore 64. I'm not sure which one. It was both around the same time. And it was just writing stuff in BASIC, and I was kind of forced to do it because I didn't have many games. I had 3 games for the Commodore, and I was like, oh, I really wanted to play other stuff after I beat all of those. So I started trying to figure out how to make my own games, and I did a really terrible job at it. Made a bunch of simple little text things and got really excited when I was able to draw stuff. Then I played with Game Maker and eventually stumbled into C++, learned a little bit of that, and did a lot of C Sharp, and then back to C++ for game development, and then C Sharp pretty much ever since I stopped doing Unreal stuff. So let's see, what other questions? Is it common to create inheritances? Yeah. I mean, well, it depends. Like code inheritance, I try to minimize, like don't do too many layers of classes and base classes. I go for more of a composition model than inheritance there. But game object variants and stuff, I'd say, are getting to be very common now. Something that you should definitely look into. Because the nice thing here, like I made this variant for this ghost. I didn't show that if I change something on this other ghost, like I change the way the ghost script works, the total fade time. Say I want them to all be 2, and then I go in and apply it to all. It's going to apply to this other ghost here. Oh, wait, it doesn't. I expected it would have applied since that was the base prefab. Now I'm a little confused. Total fade time. Oh no, I think I have to go on to here. That's right. And choose overrides. And interesting. Where? I'm not sure why it didn't pick it up. I don't know if that's an issue with this version of the beta or something that I did wrong. And somebody said I look tired. Yeah, I don't sleep that often. And I didn't do my my YouTube makeup for the day. Get all nice and made up. Just kidding. But yeah, I actually am pretty tired. Oh, somebody else said they started basic on an old 386. I did a little bit on a 386 too that my friend had. It was a lot of fun. The first time I really got to do a lot of coding, like where I wasn't just, an 8-year-old that didn't really know what I was doing, was when I got a 486. And I started doing basic stuff on that. And then a friend of mine started doing C++. And that was, what made me learn that C++ was a thing, that I should learn it. I was still terrible at it at the time though. Let's see, what other questions did we have? Oh, good. Jason's answering some questions in chat too. If you're curious about publisher stuff, he mentioned a chat talk, the things I hate about your game pitch from GDC. I saw that talk. It was really good, and he does kind of explain. A lot of people, think that their idea is, worth $1 billion, because their idea in their head isn't just their idea. It's like the thing is built, the company exists, the game is amazing and fun, and it has all these little things in it. The idea is really generally worth nothing. It's all that execution, and you got to be able to execute and show them that you can execute. But you also have to have something that's more than just an idea, because everybody in the game industry has dozens of ideas. Every office that you go in and work at, and it happens a lot of time with new people coming in, right? They'll come in, they're like, all right, I've got this idea. I'm going to change the way that we do things at this company, and my idea is going to totally change the company. You got to remember that like everybody else that came there, or almost everybody else that came there, did the same thing. They all came in with a dozen ideas, and they've all come up with probably a dozen more ideas while they're there. And getting them to want to build your idea is not an easy task. And that's not something that like you should expect is likely to happen, especially not at first, until you've built up a lot at the company and a lot of clout there where people are going to agree that your idea is good. Ideas, yeah. What do you say there? Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. Exactly the truth, right? There are good ideas out there. Anybody can come up with good ideas. How you execute on them is important. It is also not to say that you can't have bad ideas. You could definitely be a designer that comes up with terrible ideas, right? I wouldn't count myself as a game designer with good ideas, right? Like, I have lots of ideas. I don't know that any of them are good enough that we build a game or invest a lot in them. At least not the design side. Let's see what else we got here. Any other questions? Can you make an open world game in Unity, or is Unreal a better tool for that? Is Unity a resource hog? I like C# more than C++. Yeah, you can definitely make an open world game in Unity. I've seen a couple being built, and I know of a couple that are in progress now. The size of the world that you want to build obviously makes it more complex, and it's not going to be automatic in either engine where you want to just build out a giant, huge world. You're going to have to manage that. You're going to have to come up with a strategy for loading and unloading things. The new addressable system makes that really, really easy, though. So I don't think that that's a huge task anymore, or as huge a task. And the new terrain system looks like it's going to make that a lot easier too if you want to make a big outside open world. I haven't used the new terrain system in a real environment yet, but played with it a bit, and it looks like it's kind of built to start solving these problems. And I think that I can't think of anything that you couldn't build in Unity that you could build in another game engine. There might be something out there, but I haven't seen it yet, and I haven't seen a reason to switch away. Ever since I switched to Unity, it's been getting better. I've been liking it more, and I've never really run into anything that was an issue. Any other questions? It looks like that's it. And yeah, like I said, I am looking tired, so I should probably go rest a little bit and then get back to stuff. If you guys have other questions, just drop them in a comment below. I'll try to check them. Shoot me an email. I've got a giant backlog of emails trying to catch up on, but I'll get to them eventually. It's just my name at the Unity3D.college. And I think that's it. All right. If you guys want a copy of the code, if anybody drops a comment that they want a copy of it, that's fine. I'll zip it up and upload it without the art because I can't send that stuff. But it was fun stuff. Okay, there are a couple other questions. I want to just take a quick look. Somebody tried out Spatial OS. It sounds promising. Trying out the FPS example left them with problems. Yeah, I haven't played with Spatial OS yet. It did look really interesting. It seemed like a neat idea to build certain types of games where you want to build like a giant scalable thing. And it seemed like a service that I want to build. Like I actually tried to build something somewhat similar to that, I don't know, 5 years ago for fun because I thought it was going to be a really interesting thing. I never finished it though because I found all kinds of other issues that I hadn't thought about when I was going through the process. But it's something I'd like to play with more. I should probably talk to Charles about that. He did a lot of videos on it and get him to give me a quick run through on how to use it and build something. And how long do you take before designing before coding? Is it normal to take a month? No. I would take a day and design out the core part because it depends. If the whole game is a story, this might be different. But for me, it's usually about the gameplay and that core functionality, that core bit of gameplay loop. Get that figured out, design it in a day, play it, iterate it, and just keep iterating on that until it's fun, and then build out the game more from there. It's really easy to build out like a giant thing, like this whole huge progress or project and a plan for it, and build that all around a mechanic that's just not fun. Like you build all this stuff and nobody wants to play it because the main thing that you built around is like, meh, nobody cares, right? So you want to make sure to get that part right and then go on from there. Somebody asked about you doing Udemy stuff. There are some issues with it. The only reason I don't do Udemy stuff, I just do all my stuff myself on my own site. It's just at game.courses. And yeah, somebody said maybe 90% of mobile games are made with Unity. So Unity is like Windows. It's true. It's not. I don't know if it's 90%, but a large percent. More than half the games made for mobile are made with Unity, and probably more than half the games made for PC are made with Unity now. I don't know the actual numbers, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Just it's so approachable. It's very easy to get into. It's really easy to find developers and hire developers for it. Much easier than any other engine, really, in my experience. Like if you want to find a good Unreal developer, it's not going to be nearly as easy as finding a good Unity developer. And part of that's just because Unreal, for the longest time, it was $500,000 or $1 million to get started. That was the entry. Unity came in, made it free to get started, and just people kept going with it, and that's why everybody started switching over to the same the same situation that Unity had, where you can get in for free, you can start learning it for free. You don't have to spend $1 million to learn how to work on the project, right? So that's, I think, part of the reason that it's been such a big, powerful engine and such a powerhouse, and one of the reasons I love it. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. I don't want to keep going for too many hours. I think we're at 3 now. If you guys have questions, though, I mentioned my email. And if you guys don't mind, if you're still here, just hit like, subscribe, or share or something, just so that more people see the stuff and I know to keep doing more of them. As for next stuff, I think I'm going to do another stream tomorrow with Charles or Rocco. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is. I got some other recording to do and get back to a couple videos that I want to get out. But I'll do more, and we'll just talk about random other stuff, answer some questions, and I'm not sure what. Maybe we can talk about Spatial OS. That would be fun. All right, thanks again. Bye, everybody.